I don't want to. I don't want to give away any of any personal details.
Try not to.
Should we just say that because of your situation, you aren't able to turn the heating on too much, and it's very cold at the moment.
It's very cold. You're going to see me wrapped up for a while, probably until April.
I'm going to be honest though, Jay. I'm hoping that maybe it comes early a bit this year, and maybe we'll get a bit of a warmer Jan-Feb. To be fair, the weather's been a bit crazy this year, so
I feel like it's been quite a mild year, to be honest. But all of a sudden, it just seems to be cold. It's usually not this cold until January, but it seems to have come early. So
that's true. Summer was a bit crazy though. Remember we had that? I mean, we got like
40 degree. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a 40-degree day.
Disgusting.
Tell you what, I'll take that over this any day. I'd rather be 40 degrees every day than this once.
Really?
Yep.
That bad?
That bad. I hate the cold. The cold is one of my biggest pet peeves. If you can call it that.
I would prefer to be cold because I can put more layers on.
Like, there's a certain level of cold, but like anything in the minus, just I don't like it.
I mean, dude, look, I'll be honest. Like, you're at the moment you're probably putting up with the cold longer than I ever have, so it's probably not much coming from me anyway. So
sure.
Yeah. You see the Christmas stuff in the boxes? That's what that is.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even looking. Usually you've got some sort of Easter egg in the background.
Yeah, that's mess.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway. Oh, a news release, eh? Right. Sorry, guys. Just putting the stuff together. I'm last minute as per usual. Jay, let's crack on, shall we? A lot to talk about. It's been normal period of time since last time we recorded, but it's a busy time of year in terms of releases and announcements. So, should we just crack on?
Yeah, can do.
Okay, maybe that might warm you up. Hopefully. So, Jay, last time we caught up with you in terms of what you're playing and stuff, I believe you were finished Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, if I'm not mistaken.
I actually can't. Where were we? Like, when did we last record?
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
So basically, near my birthday, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was the weekend before my birthday. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've definitely finished Pokemon since then.
And how's that gone?
Very well. I've participated in the event raid that happened.
The Charizard one.
Yeah, I managed to get a fully maxed out stats Charizard, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, nice. How long did it take? How long did that take?
Not very. And like I said, it's a lot easier to get Pokemon prepared and very powerful nowadays. So.
Well, what I mean is, like, did it take a day or did it take like 2 hours or?
About 10 minutes.
Oh, sick! All right.
I mean, you can do it as many times as you wanted during that time frame. They're actually doing it twice. They did it from the 2nd to the 4th of December. I think they're doing it again from the 14th to the 15th. So if I want to do it again, okay, I can. But I don't really plan to. It's good for like farming resources if you really need to.
Oh, by the way, I will be eating because I haven't eaten my lunch yet. So I'll just mute my mic when I do, if that's okay. Cool. So just looking at the doc here then, Jay. So you wanted to discuss Pokemon. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss about playing Pokemon? Are you still playing it?
I've now started my second playthrough. I started it last night.
Oh, okay. So is that for the other game? Or...
Yeah, for Violet instead of Scarlet.
How's it going?
It's funny. My first playthrough on Scarlet, I got pretty lucky. Most of the Pokemon I caught first or second time tended to have like a pretty good nature and good stats. But I think I spent about 3 or 4 hours last night trying to reset my starter Pokemon for good stats.
Okay. Jeez.
So that was fun.
Just trying to get the right numbers, basically, the right RNG.
From about like 7:30 till about 10:30, maybe, or even 11. I was just sat there like resetting the game, resetting it until I got the right stats that I wanted. So yeah, I got
Are
pretty
you
lucky on
are
the
you
first one, unlucky on the second one.
are you genuinely going to be playing this game all the way through?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I'll be playing it
Just because.
until the 14th or the 13th,
Go on.
probably.
Witcher 3? Is
Yeah,
it?
Witcher
Is that?
3, next gen.
You're going to
I'm
use it as the launching platform to.
yeah, I mean, it gives me an excuse to play it, and also my Christmas. It could possibly be my Christmas game as well.
Very
Because
nice.
it's gonna take
Very
me. It's gonna
exciting.
take me, 100 hours minimum. So,
Yeah, but Jay, like, for you, that's like a couple of weeks max anyway.
well, if I had the entire time off, that would probably take me, yeah, about 2 weeks. So if I get a head
And then, but
start from the 14th, I should be able to get it done. Hopefully by the end of the year. Probably not.
but
Probably
then
like
also, like, you will have a lot of Christmas off, won't you? You guys shut down, don't
yeah.
you?
No, but I think we
Yeah.
have 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 12 days? Yeah, I got 12 days off.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's great.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I'll
that's
be able to
nice.
finish it in that time as long as I have a head start, which I will do from the 14th. So
So are you eager about it, or is it one of those where it's on the back catalogue and a lot of people talk about it, myself included?
sort
Like,
of
how you
like
feeling
I'm
about it?
like 60-40.
Okay, 60
Six,
40 is in
60 being like I'm excited to actually finally start it and hopefully get into it properly. But
sure,
40 is like, oh, it's just like a bit of a chore.
sure, sure. I get that. I personally think once you're an hour, couple of hours in, it'll
I
fly
mean, I've
by.
started the game
Personally,
like 3 or 4 times,
it's a good start
but I
though.
made the
It's a good
mistake of
start.
starting on hard each time because I didn't want to have to
Don't do
bother
that.
to play the game twice. But yeah, I'm just gonna
Don't
do
do
it. I'm
that.
just gonna do it on the easiest and then new game it on hard.
Even my first playthrough on easy or normal was not easy, I would
Yeah,
say.
no, that's the thing. I found that for a lot of games recently. Is even if you play it on the easiest, a lot of
Mm,
times it's still a bit tricky. So
well, a game that I'll talk about a bit later on, Guardians of the Galaxy's easy mode, I wouldn't say is that easy. Like, I still
no,
died.
there's still some difficulty in there. Yeah, definitely.
Mm. So Pokemon, you're playing through that,
The second
biding your time
time, yeah.
before Witcher.
Yeah, it's just sort of like a fill, really. I doubt I'll
Sure.
finish it by the 14th, but it's just something. I mean, I'm playing Overwatch. The new Overwatch 2 season just started. It started on the 6th, so I've sort of just been playing that really,
Is
working my
that the
way through
second
the
season?
second season. There's a season every 9 weeks, I think.
Bloody hell. That actually makes me have a heart attack. Okay.
Yeah.
And also though, you've also been playing another game. Um,
Yeah.
before Witcher 3.
Need for Speed Unbound. I finally got it. Just again, I'd finished Persona. I was like, I just need something to play, really, other than Pokemon, because I'd sort of done that. So I was like, right, I'll move on and then play something in the meantime, and then come back to Pokemon later, which is what I'm doing now. So
So
yeah,
quickly,
yeah, go on.
sorry, Jake.
No, you're good. Go.
I was just going to say quickly, while we're on the topic of Pokemon, rather than me bringing it up later in the show, it looks as though Nintendo made a statement about Scarlet and Violet
Yeah, I
and
don't. What is
about.
this? I don't know if I've seen this.
Okay, let me.
I
Oh
might have done.
God, of course my laptop freezes. Hold on, sorry about this. Basically, they were just talking about. Let's have a look here. In a message from the platform holder, apologise for performance issues that players have encountered. This comes by way of Video Games Chronicle, by the way, guys. They just said, quote, take the feedback from players seriously and working on improvements to the games. End
Yeah, I
quote.
did see that.
So I just wanted to bring that up from your perspective.
Yeah.
And I think they mentioned some patch notes too, and what you thought of that really as a
I did
Pokemon fan.
consider not playing my second playthrough until they'd sorted that out, but I was like, how long is that going to take, So yeah, I thought I'll just do it when I'm in the mood.
Did you have the usual we'll call it the Goldilocks charm, of not hitting that many bugs or glitches in your first playthrough of Pokemon?
I think I
the
hit
new
one.
Pokemon?
Like there was, I guess, yeah, like one or two, but they weren't like game breaking. They were just a bit silly, sort of like T-posing level of silly.
Okay, fair enough. So do you think the game does need a lot of patches, like in your
Yeah, the
experience? You
game
know,
should
like
run at 30, but I think it barely runs at like 24.
oh my
It
god.
can like barely get there. I mean, I'd say it runs closer to 30 for me most of the time, but I think a lot of people are playing it on the old Nintendo Switch, so it's a little bit
What are
harder.
you playing it on?
I'm just playing it on the Switch Lite, which is a bit more of a newer version.
Sure, I get that.
Slightly newer than
And
the
and
original, so
handheld only, right?
yes,
Is that
handheld
right?
only.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because I only plan on
Okay.
playing Pokemon on it, so.
So yeah, what I thought was interesting about that was I don't remember that Nintendo coming out a lot previously. You know, basically saying, look, we know the game's not up to scratch per se, because obviously they do usually have a lot of polish, I suppose, in their games.
This is the first time they've had a very unpolished Pokemon game. Well, actually, it's probably the second time because the BDSP remakes weren't great. So
Really?
yeah, I mean they were pretty buggy. You could glitch it very easily.
Okay.
The game
Interesting.
played well. It's just you could glitch it to like manipulate the game very
Do you
easily.
think? Do you think part of that is this new production cycle of Pokemon games and just
Yeah,
too
people are
much
saying that,
basically?
but I mean they've had the same amount of time to make it as they usually do.
But they've got an extra game in the works, right? Like they have the remake of BDSP and then Arceus or Arceus and then
Yeah.
this one.
But they had multiple teams. They all had the same amount of time. It's just I think
Sure,
majority of the issue is maybe not having enough people
sure. Okay,
on the
that makes
teams.
sense.
Because I know that the guy who runs it, he doesn't like having too many people on working on one project. He likes to be able to manage everybody in a certain way, and he knows that if there were more people, he wouldn't be able to manage it as well, and he'd think that the quality of the game would diminish because of that.
Got you. Okay.
So he
But
doesn't want
you're
to
still
risk it.
enjoying it?
Yeah, still loving it. Still great. Chose a new starter for my second playthrough, so I'll have a whole new team hopefully.
Nice.
I
Nice.
chose the grass starter the second time and the fire one the first time,
Nice.
which is
Nice.
complete
Okay,
opposite
cool.
of what I thought I was going to pick. I thought I was going to pick the water one from the beginning, but I didn't really like how it looked when it evolved. So
Very good. And then how is need sorry, this is my lunch and he's been so
lovely,
kind to give it
lovely.
to me. It's very nice of her. Sorry, Jay. Yes. So, how's Need for Speed going? So basically, yeah. So you bought Need for Speed Unbound. I was a little bit surprised because I go on Xbox. I'm like, oh shit, Jay's he's done it. He's gone
Yeah.
for it.
Well, I mean, I've
And
played all the sort of more recent ones. I think Payback and the reboot of the original, and then Heat as well.
do you get them on launch though? Most of the time, or
I'd either get them close to launch or like a few months after.
okay. And furthermore, this game was obviously interesting, right? Because leading up to the release, it had a great reveal, and then some. But you were a little bit more skeptical after the first trailer, and then so yeah. Give us all your. I'm gonna put myself on mute now. Give yourself all your thoughts on the game and how you have you finished it. Just give us fucking everything, and I'll ask whenever.
Okay. Yeah, I've definitely finished it. I only finished it, God, when was it? Yesterday afternoon, I think. Yeah, about 24 hours ago I finished it. Um, it's funny, the story definitely I guess it's much like a Pokemon game in that the story tends not to be that great, but the actual like mechanics and the actual gameplay itself is what is the most fun. It's definitely very repetitive. Like it is just the same thing over and over again, but that's kind of what you want out of most of these things, I guess.
Well, I was gonna
Um,
say, like, isn't that? I know I sound like I'm being a bit of a genre knob, but isn't that what most racing games
I
are?
mean, yeah, to be honest, it is just like, do this kind of race, do this kind of race, do this kind of race, boss battle, do this kind of race, do this kind of race. It felt a lot like Most Wanted, which was kind of what I think a lot of Need for Speed fans have been wanting for a while. So I think most of the people who play, well, I'd say most of the vocal people who play Need for Speed nowadays are ones who are from like the PS2 Need for Speed, and then the Carbons and the Most Wanted backgrounds, and then I think a lot of the more sort of newer players expect all that very like hot pursuit kind of level of Need for Speed. That's all they've ever really known. It's kind of like, well, you played the worst possible time to play Need for Speed. Like I feel like Need for Speed has gone through eras, much like AC, but the Need for Speed eras are kind of like the golden age, and then the really crap time, and then sort of like the what's the word?
Renaissance.
Renaissance. There we go. I feel like we're currently in the Renaissance, I guess. The story actually turned out to be not too bad in the end. It was a bit sort of like what I think would have been better as a story, and I hope they do at some point, is that they kind of make it more of like almost like an RPG in the sense that there's like a team or like a crew that you have. Because I think in Payback there was like a crew of 3 of you, which felt kind of cool. Like it was almost like a Harry Potter kind of trio kind of thing. But in this one, you were kind of just by yourself, and you almost had like acquaintances that you didn't know if they were your friends or your foes. It was just a really odd. And then you had like a father figure that sort of just chatted to you and bantered with you a little bit. Like it was fine, but it wasn't like amazing. I felt like it could have been. I really hope in the future they make a Need for Speed game that feels more like Final Fantasy 15, where it's kind of like there's like a party of you and you sort of all go out together, and maybe you can choose which character you play at the time, and maybe if you want to do like a drift event, you play as the one character who's good with the drift car, and then if you want to do like a speed race, you pick the guy who's got the fastest car and like all that kind of stuff. I think that'd be a really cool idea. Like it just didn't really feel like there was a lot of camaraderie. It just felt very like lone wolf, which wasn't terrible. It's just not as fun, I don't think. Visually,
So,
go on.
sorry. No, go on, please.
Visually, I will say it's probably the best looking and best like playable Need for Speed. Like it's 60 frames, 4K. Like I don't think it's dropped a single frame. Which I mean, I've seen the reviews and people are saying it's not always hitting 60, but for me, I don't think I dropped a single frame, to be honest.
Right, quick shout out on that then. 60 frames, 4K.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Standard. Anything less than that is just obnoxious, to be honest. It really is. But I think a majority of the reason why we're even getting that is just that the games that are being made aren't being made for full next gen. Games are still coming out on PS4 and Xbox One, and it's like, why?
Dude. A big game that got announced at Game Awards. Bear with me. I think Armored Core 6 said PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like,
and also, Street Fighter 6 is going to be PS4 and Xbox One as well. But I mean, the reason for that is just money, right? They know people still have those consoles currently. I think the only game that I've seen recently I think there's 2, but the one I can remember of recent is the new Tekken game. Is going to be PS5 only. Like the days where we start to see PS5 only and Xbox Series X only are the days that I will be very happy, because that means the game hasn't been compromised to be able to play on both consoles, Because that is what's happening. Games are being made to play worse because they have to accommodate for the crappy bloody previous gen. It's like, I mean, I get it because people still haven't quite got, the next generation consoles, or I should say current gen. It's funny how we keep saying next gen, but it's current gen.
It still feels next gen because it doesn't feel like it's been out for 2 years, does it really?
Yeah, it's like, we'll get there. I know there's definitely a couple games that are coming out that are only on next gen, but actually, I wonder if Starfield is only next gen, isn't it?
I believe so.
I have to double check that. I think it's on Series S, which annoys me because that is basically like saying previous gen.
Nah, I don't think so. You'd be surprised, Jay. A lot of the Digital Foundry videos show that the difference between X and S is not that much. To be
just resolution most of the time. I think the Series S can only go up to 1440. It can't hit 4K.
Yeah, next gen only. Next gen, like Series X and Series S.
What Starfield is?
Starfield, yeah.
Okay, well that's a plus, I guess.
But anyway, Jay, you were talking about Need for Speed.
Yes. It had a nice progression actually. I like Need for Speed games tend to have a really good flow to them. Like you'll start off feeling fairly like slow and weak, but by like the mid to late game, you'll actually start to feel like you've actually made some progress. Really good level, feeling of progression in that instance. They have like a drift system that they brought from. I know they had it in Heat, and I think they had it in the Need for Speed reboot. But they've sort of like evolved it over time, where you can choose if you want to actually like drift around corners a certain way. and I quite like that. I think I actually prefer the not drifting, but in Heat, the drifting felt quite nice. So there is a multiplayer you can play, which I've looked at, but it's funny. Half the achievements are for multiplayer, and half the achievements are for the campaign. So I'm tempted to actually go back and play the multiplayer at some point. The thing is, I'll need to play it sooner rather than later because multiplayer for games like that tend to die off pretty quick. So
definitely.
yeah. But other than that, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was worthy of my time and money. We'll go with that.
How many hours, Jay? Give us some
That's
stats.
actually a great question. I don't know, and I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't look. I was meant to prepare and have a look. Can you look up stats on the Xbox app?
You can indeed.
Yeah, I might check that.
While Jay checks that, I just want to say it's good to be here with Jay. I've missed talking to him about video games. Me and him and Coops had a little catch up last Saturday. I think it was last Saturday now. I can't remember when it was, but that was a good time. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
ABC.
It's good to catch up, and there's been a lot going on. Jay, while you're looking that up, yeah. For the Game Awards, what did you do? Did you end up just not watching it and then, just try and watch it on a stream before you saw any news stories, or?
Yeah, I deliberately didn't go on Twitter for a whole day.
Nice.
Just so I could come home and watch it. So
welcome to the free life, Jay.
Yeah.
Weirdly, Jay, believe it or not, I went to bed early that night and I woke up at 3:30 or 4, and like it finished or whatever, or like and I was like, oh, well, I might as well just watch the stream, so I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As in, like, the finished record, like skip the bits I don't want to see, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I can't see my stats. Where do I look for my stats?
Oh, okay. Maybe I lied to you then. Hold on.
I think I can just see
technical issues, guys. Technical issue. Oh, okay. Dadu go away. Bear with me. Let's have a look here. No, yeah, you click on a game.
Okay.
And then achievements, and then stats, and then time played.
Achievements.
So go on the game on YouTube.
Okay, so I've put 24, 34. I've put almost 40 hours in.
Not bad at all.
That's not bad.
Not bad
that's pretty
at all.
good. 40 hours for a racing game is pretty decent.
And
I could definitely see myself. No, I've still got some collectibles to get.
Achievos? What are we looking here? Like potential?
Half?
Is there a lot of multiplayer as well?
Yeah, I'd say almost exactly half of them are multiplayer, and the other half are actually, that's a lie. We'll go with like 70% of them are campaign, 30% of them are online.
Are you bothered about
I forgot about the collectibles.
Ones,
I've got all the campaign ones apart from the collectibles. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, collectibles and also the 3 stars on each of the events, which I don't even know if I'm capable of it. That's one of those like skill things. You kind of need to actually be skilled at the game, which I'm not bad at.
Jay, do you think
just, it would take a while?
And do you want to sit there and try it out for however?
I'd say it would probably take me about another 10 or 20 hours to finish it totally. So
fair dues. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think it will be looked upon in 5 years' time as the best Need for Speed in 5-10 years, like genuinely, or?
I don't think that's the thing. Need for Speed is sort of like a funny middle ground game where it's not really looked at as anything special, but it's not looked at as anything terrible. So it's sort of like right in the middle. Like it's fine, It's just fun. It's like a new. Just whenever there's a new one, it's just fun to play it again. It's almost like an AC game where you kind of just like have to not play it for a long time and then get back in the mood for it.
It knows what it does. It does what it does.
Yeah, it says what it says on the tin, basically. It's like super basic and just like, yep, it's great.
And by the way, guys, just in case anyone's listening about this, I do want to bring this up very quickly, Jay, because it's very true. The genre bias for even the likes of me and you is massive for every other gamer, and let's call them critics, whatever. Right, everyone who plays games, right? Like, Need for Speed does what it says on the tin. Now, how do we compare Need for Speed in terms of evolving being different every incarnation to even a Call of Duty, right? And then how do we compare that to the likes of single player games? Because yeah, someone might come in and go, well, God of War 2018 was more innovative than, let's say, Unbound was on the Need for Speed franchise, to their respective franchises, if that makes sense. But that's so hard to compare. And also, there's a huge bias there. A huge bias. Like, oh, yeah, you're telling me a third-person open world journey with a smaller character hitchhiking with you alongside you mean The Last of Us? No, not that one. Not that one. This is actually in mythological Greek. Oh, wait, so like the old God of War. No. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think you can make an argument to say that God of War 2018 maybe isn't as innovative as you might think. But all I'm trying to say is the comparisons are hard to make there, aren't they? And I think that the likes of fighting games and driving games, they just get pounded, mate. They could get completely overlooked. They get completely
That's true, actually. Yeah,
overlooked.
they didn't do a category for racing games, did they, this year?
I think they mixed it with another one, but that's what I mean, right? Like, I just feel like they get overlooked, and it's just one of those where, like, look, if you like racing games, you like racing games. I guess it's just the case, Jay, that more people are interested and want to play a third-person action game of any sort than a racing game. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe the fans of racing games just don't like to talk about it as much. I don't know, but do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is fairly niche. Like, there are a lot of people who play them, because I know Forza, I think, had 24 million on Game Pass players.
That's quite a lot.
That's not including purchases. So yeah, actually that might be including purchases. I could be wrong, but they put out a stats thing about Xbox first party or whatever. But I mean, yeah, they're popular, but they don't really get talked about as much.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So Jay, if that's okay with you, I think we'll move on.
Sure.
From what you're playing. So I've got a mouthful. Before we do that, quick temperature check. What's your thoughts on Crisis Core Reunion?
Yes, I'm still cold. What
Very
are my
good.
thoughts on what?
Crisis Core Reunion.
Oh, what, the Final Fantasy?
What are we feeling about it? It looks like the reviews are pretty positive. So.
Yeah, no, I imagine it'll be great. It's just I'm not inclined to play it much at the minute. I kind of have to pick and choose. And I'm not really in the Final Fantasy mood at the minute. It's very odd. Like, I think I don't know when I'm going to be back in the Final Fantasy mood, to be honest. I don't really know what kind of mood I'm in.
I think it'll likely be June 23rd, won't it?
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 16. I'll definitely be playing 16, but I'm kind of like not on the 7 train at the minute.
Fair enough.
I don't know if I'll even be playing Rebirth, to be honest.
Jay, let's not be crazy about this. Let's not be extreme about this, Jay. Let's just one day at a time. Jay, there is no way.
Well, let's just say right now I'm not in the mood for it. Let's just say that. Then. Right now I'm probably in the opposite mood of Final Fantasy 7. I'm genuinely not in the mood for it at all.
What's ironic, Jay, is like I'm well in the mood for it. Like I'm not going to buy it.
I'm kind of glad I'm not in the mood though, because if I was in the mood, it'd ruin my mood for when I was near the time. Don't you think? Potentially.
What in terms of the Rebirth or 16 or
Rebirth?
Yeah, potentially, but then we don't know when it's coming. It might be further away than we think, you know.
Exactly. So the longer I stay out of the mood, the better.
See, for me, yeah, but like we say, Jay, if you're in the mood, you got to hit it, right?
Yeah, but because let's say I'm not. Let's say I was in the mood, but I can't play it. What do I do then?
Oh, I'm with you.
See what I mean?
I'm with you.
Yeah, then you feel bad. Like both ends of the spectrum are bad. It's just one is slightly better than the other, I think.
Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah,
not having it and not being in the mood is better than
not
having it and being in the mood. So
totally, yeah. I am like, yeah, like if someone was like, "Oh, Nick, surprise, bought you it for free," I'll be like, "Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna enjoy it, but I'm not gonna buy it." And frankly, I think it might come to PS Plus or Game Pass. To be honest with you,
no, it won't. You're talking about Rebirth?
Nah, Crisis Core Reunion. Sorry.
Oh no, that won't.
Mark my words, Jay. No game is safe. No game is safe.
Yeah, that's true.
The only reason I think that, Jay, is because on the new PS Plus thing, 7 Remake and 7 Remake Integrator on there. So
Oh, are they really?
it might,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That maybe sways things, I guess.
And 7 Remake was a free game as well for the month. So you never know, bro. You never know. You never know. Are you okay?
Yeah. I got new glasses. I don't know. Yeah, these are.
Okay.
They,
Sorry,
they
you're a
look
bit
the
blurry on
same.
my end. I can't.
They look the same. It's just that they're hurting the sides of my ears a little bit. So.
Bro, I feel that. I'm exactly the same when I get new pairs. Do you think it's a little bit of teetering them in? You know, like stretching them in.
They're not the same frames as what I'm used to. So they're just
Did
sort of
the
digging
did
into
the
the side of
optician
my
change them a little bit? You know, like broaden them out or anything?
head. No.
Okay. Did you just get them online?
No.
Okay. All right.
I had to go in and get them, but the person who helped me wasn't very helpful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I've had a bad experience every time I've been, except from the first time I ever went.
Specsavers or?
Yeah, first time I ever went in 2018 was the best experience I've had. Every time I've been since then has just been terrible.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just bad luck,
Yeah,
I
sure.
guess.
That, to be fair, mate, I went to Specsavers once or twice, and I just felt like a sheep in a field. So yeah, I mean, like,
Surrounded by wolves.
yeah, I didn't like it. It was yeah. Anyway, here's one for you, Jay.
Yeah.
What is the name of the Kree's elite special forces in Captain Marvel? Star Force, Nova Corps, Shield, or Sovereign?
That's Nova Corps. And you should know that as well, because you've been playing a game about it, right?
That is incorrect, Jay.
Oh, oh, I guess so. Yeah, if you're talking about,
I just read the cards.
so you're talking
What
about
is
the
the name of the
Kree?
Kree's elite special forces in Captain Marvel?
Oh, Captain Marvel. I thought you were talking about something else. Okay,
Sorry, bro.
fair enough.
I wouldn't know that answer anyway. So
Yeah, Nova
there
Corps
we
is much more superior over bloody Kree anyway. I hate the
Correct.
Kree. Bug me. I really hate the Kree.
Is Kree the one that Ronan's representing?
Yeah, Ronan's a Kree. They're blue.
That's right. I will cure it. Yeah, fucking his character's stupid. I hate him. Mate, don't you just love Yondu? I saved you, boy. They're gonna eat you.
Yeah, Yondu's probably one of my favourite Marvel characters, actually.
Yeah, he's fucking great. Hey, never tasted Terran before. Yeah, he's fucking great. Okay. Alright, Jay. Time for some news, and there is a lot of news indeed. Game Awards happened. I assume we both watched it. I think we did. A lot to talk about. First of all, Jay, what great show. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is quickly becoming, in my opinion, almost better than E3.
It is the Oscars of the gaming world.
But the announcement,
it's the Super Bowl of the gaming
better.
world.
Way better. Like,
yeah, that's
Jay,
because Jeff
these
is fucking
announcements are
amazing.
I think the fact that he can get almost every publisher to, to show something makes it more impactful than separate showcases.
He almost has like a portfolio now, right? Of like, this is what I've done, these are the amount of viewers I get. If you come to my show, you're going to get a lot more people seeing it than if you go to that E3 thing.
100%.
Like E3 obviously gets less views than the Game Awards, which is kind of amazing, to be honest.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
people look forward to it.
And I thought the pacing was great. I thought the reveals and announcements were great.
Yeah.
The awards themselves, whatever.
They sort of rattled them off nicer, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because Jeff did make the statement saying it was going to be the shortest one ever.
Oh, really?
Which it was. It was
not
definitely
after
shorter.
That first acceptance
I
speech.
know. I want to say last year's was about 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
But I think this year was only 2.5.
Oh, right. That is a lot shorter.
Yeah, I think they did every single award with someone coming on last time. Whereas this time, all the sort of the less important, I guess, in quotes, they just sort of like spewed them out a bit faster.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And also on that, oh, sorry, Joe, I forgot what I was going to say. My focus is shit. Yeah, I do feel a bit bad though, Jay, because sometimes, like you say, they just rattle them off when they're like hosting, but then other times they have the whole, walk up, accept it, I'm like, a bit harsh, guys. Like that might be a really
No.
big award for someone that you just reel
Well,
them
I'm sure
off, But
they're all big for everybody. It's just they have to get through the show quicker,
true,
so
true.
they have to pick and choose. Like the Game of the Year one's obviously going to be fairly important. Best actor or voice actor or whatever it is fairly important. I think
I
the
did
audio is
jokes.
usually music is usually fairly important. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in that sense, Jay, let's go over the winners first. Both of these lists come from IGN, so full credit to them. But let's go over the winners first because I don't really give a shit about the winners. But so, Jay, I'll just reel them off if that's okay with you, and feel
Okay.
free to interrupt.
I mean, you can
Yeah, is
skip
that
the
all right?
ones that aren't really that
Okay.
interesting, I guess.
Well, look, before we start, Jay, yes, it was, Elden Ring and Ragnarok show. But what I will say on
Yes.
that, right, is that I don't know whether that's representative of the gaming industry and the games and how hard it is to make those games, or the lack of those games and how much demand there is, or that we've just had a bit of a drought.
We
And
have. We've
that's
had
why
probably one of the
they
quietest years since like 2018,
14.
probably.
Oh, sure, okay.
Like I feel like 2014 was a pretty dry year. 2013 was a dry year. 2018 was
Very
a fairly
dry.
dry year.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
2020 was a fairly dry year. I mean, depending. And then this year felt awfully dry. Like I think it's funny. I can usually tell how dry a year is by how much time off I can take or want to take off during the year.
Sure.
Because this year I've only taken off 3 weeks total, not including Christmas. One of those was for. Actually, I don't think I did one. I took a week off at the beginning of the year, but I didn't play a game necessarily during that time. End of October, I took a week off for Gotham Knights, and then end of November, I took a week off for Pokemon. That's it. Like that was pretty much my whole year in terms of gaming, to be honest.
Nice.
But next
Nice.
year, I want to take off time in January, February, March, April, June, and probably sometime in the end of the year as well. So, and I can't do that. I can only pick 3, so I kind of have to pick and choose what games I want to play this year with time off. I've got to be very careful about what I want to do.
So, Jay, I'm just going to read it in the list that is on the website. Also, you won't be able to see my face, but you don't need to see that. Right, Game of the Year, Elden Ring.
Yes.
Big moment.
I was actually. It's funny. I wanted it to happen, but I almost was like, I bet God of War is going to get it anyway. I'm glad it didn't, but Jesus, it was close.
What's interesting about this, Jay, is that God of War 2018 famously or infamously won over Red Dead 2 that year, right? And then the last Sekiro also won Game of the Year. So you're talking about 2 incredible development teams who, have a Game of the Year type game. I think that I haven't played Ragnarok. I haven't played either of these games. And look, frankly, yeah, of course it's nice for someone to have an award, right? But guys, it's about the cultural impact. That's what's really important, right? But all I was going to say was, in terms of Elden Ring getting it, what I think's great, and the same goes for Ragnarok, is that for me, selfishly, that's a sort of game that I want everyone to be excited about. And I think the buzz around Elden Ring was truly, and I haven't even played it, it wasn't something that we see that often, right? Like, it just, there was so much excitement around it, Jay.
It had
and people
a
were
global impact. Like really,
yeah.
the whole gaming community sort of gathered around it for about
100%.
a month.
100%. And
Whereas
that's great
I feel like Ragnarok, people talked about it, but it wasn't as, it didn't go as viral, I guess you could say.
Agreed, and I don't know whether that's because of spoilers, perhaps. I don't know, but
I feel like a lot of that is just the fact that there's this sort of mystique around FromSoft games. Like much like how Cyberpunk went about their marketing, and much like who else? I had someone else in mind just then. Kojima does with his stuff. Whenever there's some sort of like level of mystery and like teasing, like actual teasing of stuff with no leaks, then yeah, it kind of actually becomes a bit of an event, a bit of a sort of, a show, as it were, that can be sustained for quite a long time. But then I feel like God of War didn't really have that long of a marketing thing around it. Like it kind of just felt like, yeah, it's coming out November.
Agreed.
Cool.
It was a bit weird actually, because obviously we were all speculating for it to be delayed again.
I was like, didn't we
Even
find out it
further
was
from
coming out only like about a month before it did, or like a month and a half?
like 3-4 months. Yeah.
Really? I thought it was way smaller than that. I could be, yeah. Fair
I
enough.
don't think so.
Didn't they show it off at like a state of play or something? Or like
It was. I think you're right, actually, Jay. I think it might have even been a couple of months.
Yeah, maybe 2 at a push.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I think they left it as long as they possibly could. I don't.
It
really
was a
know
bit
why.
weird in that sense, but yeah. Anyway,
Like, 'cause some
Anyway.
games are like announced a year ahead of time, like Final Fantasy 16, and then we sort of find out the release date maybe 6-7 months before it's even coming out, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, now it gives us time to like prepare. But whenever there's like a month, 2-3 months, it almost feels like way too soon. It's like, whoa.
But then that's also what I always ask for, right? Is like, show us the game, show us the release date, cool, 6, see you there. But like you say, Jay, sometimes, yeah, it's a weird one. I prefer it, but then you almost don't believe it when it's that soon. You know what I mean? You almost think like,
Exactly. You think,
no
oh,
way.
that'll get delayed.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my first thought is. Whenever I see games coming out in a month, 2-3 months, 4 months, I'm like, oh, that'll be delayed. But if it's like 6, 7, 8, 9 months out, I'm like, okay, that's less chance,
Sure.
but still a possibility.
Yeah.
If a game's a year out, it's like, it could still be delayed.
Mate, if it's 3 years out, it's still, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
There's
what it
no
is.
real massive, given timeline, but
Best game direction, Elden Ring, winner.
yeah.
Best narrative, God of War Ragnarok. Which is
Makes
cool.
sense.
Best art direction, Elden Ring. Which is cool.
Makes a lot of sense. Jesus.
Best score music. Now, Jay, just a quick one on this. This category was fantastic.
Yeah, stacked.
Everyone in here,
Could have
I
won
love
it.
the music.
Yeah.
Even I've heard Elden Ring music's phenomenal.
Always.
So,
I'm
look, at the end of
guessing
the
you
day,
haven't
I love the
listened to
2018
the-
soundtrack for God of War. So, Bear
was gonna
winning it
say,
for
yeah.
Ragnarok's great. But go on, sorry, what you gonna
You
say?
haven't listened to the old Dark Souls soundtracks, have you?
Not
Dark
much,
Souls
mate,
1, 2,
not
3.
much.
I mean, they're all phenomenal, to be honest. Like, they're all pretty. Like, if you play the game, you'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. Like the song, I get why the songs are like feel good. It's funny. I feel like the
Sure.
soundtrack to Dark Souls are almost like the soundtrack to like the Halo games. Like they're so synonymous with the game.
I love that
Like
comparison.
the
'cause I love the Halo
ODST, my
soundtracks.
favorite Halo one is ODST soundtrack. It is the best soundtrack. It's just,
fantastic.
it's phenomenal.
It's fantastic.
It's on another
Best
level.
audio design, God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah,
bit-
that makes sense.
I was a bit surprised Modern Warfare 2 didn't get that one.
Yeah, me
personally,
too.
but there we
I was
are.
kind of like this. Yeah, I think they both were like the top 2 contenders for that.
Best performance, Christopher Judge. We love to see it. We love to see
What
it.
was that speech? Like you could tell that he just wanted to like. I don't get why he spoke so slowly. Maybe he was like, I don't know.
I think he. To be honest with you, Jay, my impression of it, he knows he's an actor, so he knows what behavior he needs to exude in order to for people to listen. In some sense.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. He might have like almost tried to make it seem like this monumentous event of like him winning, when in reality it's just another actor winning another award. Kind of
It
like,
was.
yeah, we get it.
At the same time, why didn't they run the music quicker? Maybe because I don't
Oh,
know.
they did. They ran the music fairly quickly. It's just it was very low initially, and then it got louder and louder.
Right. Okay.
It was. I mean,
And
you
to
could,
be
you could
fair,
barely
maybe
hear it when
Jeff-
they started playing it.
Maybe Jeff Keighley was genuinely serious when he said, oh, I was actually going to talk quite slowly in the intervals, but now, after that. So maybe they thought,
Yeah, there were
"Heck, well,
moments where Jeff went so quick where I was like, oh, they did that because of the bloody long speech, 100%.
Mate, can you imagine? You've organised this all year, right?
Yeah.
And
one
the
dude.
first award speech throws the whole schedule off.
I genuinely think it was about
first
7 or
one.
8 minutes long.
Was it really?
I think it was about like 7, yeah. Because I had to skip
God.
past it. I was like, I can't believe this is still going. I
It
literally
was-
skipped 5 minutes and it was like just about ending. And I was like, oh my god.
It was pretty nuts. It was pretty nuts. Yeah.
That took up so much time.
It was
It was
pretty
insane.
nuts. Games for Impact. Now, not sure about what the hell they mean by pro-social meaning, but I like As Dusk Falls and it won, so cool.
Yeah, I was glad about that. Out of all of them, that's one I wanted to win.
I'll tell you what else you were glad about, Jay. Best ongoing game going to Final Fantasy 14, I bet.
Yeah. And didn't they get the best community or something as well?
I believe they did, Jay. I believe they did.
Which makes total sense because they definitely deserve both of those.
Now, Jay, this is why I don't like award shows, because I now have to detail something, but I don't like shitting on other games or developers or creations or art. Okay? I don't like comparing it because, like, you know, the whole thing of what's better, Red Dead 1 or 2. I mean, there's so much detail to that. How can you possibly personal preference?
So much of just media in general is just personal preference. I mean, there's definitely, I feel like every bit of media entertainment has a scale, like a sort of set rule of like why it's good. There's like, you know, the cinematography of a film, or the sound design, or, you know, the writing, like all that is sort of like set in stone to a degree. But when it comes to other things, like whether or not you actually prefer something just because it's your personal preference, that's up for debate. You know, that is like the one variable or one of a few variables that fluctuates something and how much you're going to like it. Like a thing is going to be more popular if it's very well written or well, like great sound design, or, you know, has a good message or whatever. But yeah, you can deliberately fuck that up by just having bad of all those things. So. But someone can still like something if it's bad, you know.
Totally. And I'll just put this down to personal preference then. What I don't like is that I feel like award shows try to objectify the personal preference. That's all. You know
what do you mean?
Well, there's only one Game of the Year winner. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like you objectify the whole idea of, oh, my favorite game or the game that I loved this year, or like I don't think I can put a peg between Red Dead 1 and 2. I just can't.
A peg?
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay.
Like, what I'm saying is, like, I feel like award shows, you know, like, they basically try to say that Elden Ring's better than Ragnarok, but, like, who knows if it's better? I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess just by having the award and, like, saying it's the game of the year, you could objectively, one of the two, say that then means that one is better than the other. But I think that they're both equally fantastic and both marvels of technology and artistry. But exactly I think Elden Ring winning over God of War by being Game of the Year, like how we said earlier, is more to do with the impact it had rather than the actual game itself. Maybe, or maybe it's a combination. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Yeah. I agree. And on that note, Jay, best indie game, Stray. Wrong. It's Tunic. Best debut indie game, Stray. Wrong. It's Tunic. Just want to put that out there.
I mean, yeah. Again, up for debate, isn't it? I think Stray. Again, part of the reason it won that is because of the impact it had.
Exactly right, Jay. And I wanted to speak to you about that because I knew instantly, like, as soon as that won, I was like, that's because you like cats and you all like fucking memes, you children.
Yeah, what would have won if Stray hadn't come out this year? Would it have been Tunic?
100%.
Well, there you go.
100%.
But you don't know, we don't know that. It's just, you know, what would have taken its place.
Vampire Survivors, I know that's got quite a big impact.
I've actually been playing that today.
Any good? Is it better than...
It has 125 achievements.
What?
And they're fairly easy to get too. I've got
only 1,000 gamer score.
No, I think it's like 1,700 and something, or like 1,200 and something.
That's mental. That's not the rules at all.
They could be way off on that, but yeah, it's a very odd achievement system. It's fun. It's even out on mobile as well. They had one thing I will say about, funnily, actually, I'll go back to Need for Speed for a second. Both Need for Speed and the Game Awards were very, like, had a lot of references in them. Like a lot of modern, sort of very chronically online references, if you understand what I mean. Do you know what I mean by chronically online?
No.
Okay, if someone is chronically online, it means they're constantly on the internet. Like most of their social and
Exposure, interaction.
yeah, references
Yeah.
of things, exposure. Like a lot of where they get their knowledge is from the internet. One of those people being me. Like I'm chronically online, basically. So if you
Okay.
reference something about an online in a meme or event that happened, I'm probably going to know what I'm going to get that reference, basically.
Sure. Sure.
And so there's a lot of there's a lot of like Need for Speed had a lot of like millennial references in it that I know a lot of the Zoomer kids just wouldn't get, and that made me laugh. And then there was a reference to the Vampire Survivors trailer for the mobile game. It was a reference to the Diablo Blizzard Con from years ago about saying you've all got mobiles, play Diablo Immortal in a couple
No
of years.
way.
That was what the reference was. Yeah,
That's that's bold.
they took the piss out of Blizzard basically, which was hilarious.
Shit. Wow.
So yeah, references, gotta love them.
Best mobile game, Marvel Snap, which is cool.
Not surprised.
How
actually.
the fuck is Diablo Immortal on this list? Sorry, Jay.
I mean, it is, you know. Diablo Immortal is a good-looking game. It's just a terrible monetized game.
Marvel Snap though, that's cool.
Yeah, I played that for the first month it came out, but I've sort of fell off just because I've got other things that I'm playing, so
nothing wrong with that.
I have to prioritize. But I will say I think Snap has had like 50 million downloads or something. I want to say so. I think Marvel's actually making more money on that one mobile game than they probably have done on the entire of the Avengers game that came out. Wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Because a lot of people pay on that game. So
we need to look into that. We need to look into that.
Yeah, I'll check out the exact numbers.
Best community support, Final Fantasy 14 Online.
Makes a lot of sense. The developers for that are like so emotionally invested into that game. It's insane.
Best VR game / AR game, Moss Book 2, which is cool. That looks like a cool game.
I don't think I've even seen it, so I wouldn't know.
It's the one with the mouse. You seen the mouse?
Don't think so.
No. Okay. Innovation and accessibility, a great category. Yeah. Also, some really good games here in terms of their accessibility features, and I'm actually shocked The Last of Us Part 1 didn't win because Naughty Dog's accessibility features are nuts. Yeah. Like, I've seen people, apparently blind people can play The Last of Us Part 2, which is mental. But God of War Ragnarok won.
Same on Street Fighter 6. They've added a lot of accessibility things now where for blind people, if they want to play, there's like a beeping noise that gets increasingly more frequent the closer you are to the enemy character.
Wow.
So you know where the position of the character is dependent on the sound. So as long as you can still hear, you'll be able to play it.
Wow. I wonder whether when blind people play these games, do you think they have to like dull down or mute the other sounds of the game, if that makes sense? Or no?
Sure. I'm sure there's some sort of thing they can do.
Balance.
Some sort of setup. Yeah.
Best action game, Bayonetta 3.
Makes sense.
On that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It was cool. Jay, on the Bayonetta front, the one day when I finally decide to get a Switch, I'm actually really eager to play Zelda. I think I'll play Super Mario Odyssey, and the Bayonetta games because I actually really want to play 2 and 3 because I haven't naturally.
Sure. Yeah.
No, okay. You don't like Bayonetta?
Yeah, you know, they're fine. I feel like that's all sort of in the past for me. I feel like Bayonetta is like, I don't know, not really my cup of tea necessarily.
Oh, this is why I have you around, Jay, because you have more wisdom than I. It is in the past, isn't it?
It's kind of like in the past.
Game,
yeah, really, exactly. Yeah, like for me, the games that are in the past are like Halo, Gears of War, and Bayonetta. Yeah, they're just sort of like they've had that time.
Jay, on that comment, which we've talked about a lot, I just want to say very quickly, I'm going to talk about Halo a little bit later, but I disagree with you about Halo. But I reflecting on what you said, reflecting on what you said, I totally get it about Gears. Like I'll be truthfully honest with myself, I don't need another Gears.
They've had their heyday. I wouldn't mind them making a movie though.
Sure.
I don't know if I'd go and see it, but cool for it to exist.
Best action / adventure game, not to be confused with best action game.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Best RPG, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I think that's Best fighting game, Multiverses.
Makes sense. Yeah. A lot of people I think I mentioned it last time. Sifu isn't a fighting game, but it was on the list anyway.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay. Best family game at Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I have heard good things about that.
Yeah,
So,
decent
you know.
game.
Best sports racing game, Gran Turismo 7. The others are EA games, so they're trash. Not Ollie Ollie World. Sorry, guys. Not
I
you
didn't
guys.
even. I think that I totally skipped that category when I was watching the thing. I don't know how I skipped it.
I think that came up really quick.
Yeah,
To
I
be
was going to
fair.
say that
Like,
must have come up quick because I forgot they even won that.
best sim strategy game, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
That was odd, but okay.
Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, that over Total War Warhammer 3. Like,
Yeah,
give us a
that
break,
is the
guys.
best game on that list, 100%.
Best multiplayer game. This is fucking ridiculous.
I can't even remember what it was.
Splatoon 3.
Oh yeah, to be honest, I'm not surprised at that. Splatoon 3's got a massive audience. You'd be surprised. Niche, but
I
massive.
don't give a shit. Call of Duty's on the list, Jay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny actually.
You know what I
Do
mean?
you know what makes me think that not a lot of people who play Call of Duty care about the Game Awards? Clearly,
Yeah, I think
because they didn't vote. If everybody who liked Modern Warfare or Call of Duty voted, that would have won by a landslide.
It's true.
Because there aren't like there's the audience for Splatoon 3 is big, but it's not Modern Warfare big. It's not even close. So yeah, that just goes to show.
The rest are esports, which we don't care about. Most anticipated game. Not surprised, but kind of surprised. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, yeah, I think Hogwarts was on there. I can't remember what else.
Starfield, Resident Evil 4, Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah,
all
I get why Zelda
games.
is, but that's that's whatever.
Yeah. Also, even if Breath of the Wild is this innovative, incredible, new type of open world game, Tears of the Kingdom is not going to also revolutionize.
Are they going to capture
genre.
lightning in a bottle twice? Is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, but they're not. This is going to be a sequel to that game. You know what I mean? So like, there's like even if like it's not going to it's going to do what the first game did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just with a different story.
Exactly. Or spin.
Continuation. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see whether they actually make it any different. I mean, I think that's probably why Zelda has been able to stay so good, is because it is basically the same thing. Much like AC, it's the same thing with slight twists here and there.
Yeah.
I think they know the formula and they'll stick to it. So
100%. Listen to that, Nintendo fans. Ubisoft do it too, and we have no shame in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Activision do it too.
Yeah, they do. Best adaptation. I was very surprised. Arcane, League of Legends wins.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Lovely.
That just goes to show that there's a larger League of Legends fan base that vote versus a Cyberpunk fan base that vote. Because I voted for
all
Cyberpunk,
of those adaptations on there were fantastic anyway, to be fair. So
yeah, Cuphead was great.
Cuphead's great. Cyberpunk Edge Runners obviously I haven't even seen
had a
it yet,
much. I think Edge Runners had a bigger impact than Arcane. But I think on a technical level, maybe Arcane was more.
Yeah, no, I see that. So Jay, the announcements, the important stuff.
Yes, the stuff that actually gets me hyped as shit.
Jay, the announcements were fantastic. I really enjoyed most of them. First up, again, going in the list of that's on IGN, Final Fantasy 16 new trailer, release date June 2023. Basically, what we said.
June Apocalypse once again.
What's things stacking up already?
Yeah, there's like I want to say about 4 or 5 games coming out in June. You got Street Fighter 6. You got Final Fantasy. There is another one that was announced. It's coming out, I think, June 6th.
Can't remember, mate.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of games coming out in June.
Very exciting.
Can't remember what the bloody was now. I'm sure we'll find out. I might have to Google it in a minute. But...
Next up, FromSoft's brand new game, Armored Core 6. Obviously, Armored Core is a series they used to do sort of before they got heavily into the Souls stuff. But bringing it back, I think some people were expecting this, but yeah, thoughts on this, Jay? I mean, apparently they've got release dates for 2023.
So how much do you know about this game?
Nothing.
So about a year ago, the description of this game leaked.
Okay.
So people knew, people in the know knew this game was coming. They just didn't know what it was going to be. They just knew it was going to be The way the description sounded like a Souls game, like a futuristic Souls game, basically. So what a lot of people don't know is that FromSoft are actually the people behind Armored Core. They made all the Armored Core games way back in the day. So this game is supposedly going to be a Souls Armored Core game.
So Armored Core originally wasn't Souls-like, then, is that correct?
No, it's very it's a mech game at heart. It is 100% a mech game, basically. But yeah, chances are, from the description that got leaked a long time ago, and from the trailer, because the trailer references Dark Souls 1.
How?
And the trailer is actually, I think, it was very, very Miyazaki in design and execution. So yeah, chances are it's going to be a Souls-like, but with Armored Core. Yeah, it references Dark Souls 1 because it talks about the flames and the cinders and this. Yeah, it literally pulls, I think, a quote from Dark Souls 1 in the trailer. So if you know anything about the lore of Dark Souls 1, you'd understand how it references it, basically. Because the lore from Dark Souls 1 is, I mean, to be honest, that's funny. You know how in Final Fantasy there's sort of like the crystal lore?
Mm-hmm.
How crystals are sort of involved in a lot of Final Fantasy or like recent Final Fantasy games? Well, actually, to be honest, most Final Fantasy games have some level of crystal in them. But there's a very similar run through with fire in Dark Souls games and in Elden Ring as well. Fire plays a massive role in almost like the life source of consciousness and humanity and beings in general. Like fire is basically like the soul, essentially. So yeah, that's why souls look kind of very like white flame-ish as well. So
totally. And obviously really cool. Jay, am I right in thinking that then FromSoft I assume must have two teams? And I believe it was the other team that originally made Dark Souls 2 while they made Bloodborne and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know whether that's the case anymore because I actually thought it was only one team now because you have Dark Souls 3, then you had Sekiro, and then you had Elden Ring, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel like that.
So, as far as I know, not the director of Sekiro, but the actual head game designer of Sekiro is now the director of this game.
Right. Okay.
So he's got a promotion basically.
So initially it was Miyazaki. With Miyazaki's involvement. Or?
What's the thing? For the first half of the development of the game, it was Miyazaki was the director, but then this other guy took over from Miyazaki because Miyazaki said, "I'm too busy. I'm doing something else." So he went to go make another game.
Ring.
So no, there wasn't Elden Ring. This is like another game that's coming out.
Oh, okay.
So there will be another FromSoft game in like I don't know 3 to 5 years that Miyazaki's currently working on.
That's cool. That's very exciting.
More than likely. So yeah, after Armored Core, we're going to get something else probably.
That's really cool. On this, Jay, as well. It's funny because I think Miyazaki is an artist and he wants the art to speak for itself. But I hope that perhaps a moment at the Game Awards was him showing that appreciation of. I understand that thousands, if not millions, of people are enjoy our games and we appreciate that and we're not forgetful about that. And dude, I love Japanese games, bro. I think they make the best games in the world.
Tell me about it, dude. Persona 5 is like, it's insane how good it is. I forgot that Persona 5 had another game that came out called Strikers.
Right.
I need to play that, but yeah, the deluxe edition is like way too expensive. But the regular version is on sale right now. But I'm gonna wait until the whole game is either free or very, very low in price, and I'll come back to that, I reckon.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool to see. Man. Anyway, are you okay if we move on? You good?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Dude, I swear to you, this week I was thinking like, I wonder what Supergiant are up to now. Like, would they? Maybe I have no reason to lie about this. I was like, yeah, they could make a new IP, or they can make a Hades 2, I guess, because Hades was obviously that big. And lo and behold,
yeah,
Hades 2. Here it
looks
is.
Awesome, dude.
Looks fucking sick.
Yeah, people are already making fan art on Twitter. Like my whole feed's just been fan art of Hades 2.
Oh,
It's
dude, the
insane.
game looks awesome. I have no idea how it ties into the first game, but it looks great.
Yeah, they put out
what
a
did you think?
statement, I think either yesterday or today, basically saying, "Look, we love the love that the community is showing for the game. We can't wait to bring it to you." Basically.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. It
no,
looks.
this is great. Yeah, I don't think I'll
It
pay
also
for it, but if it comes to Game Pass, I'll play it.
100%. I was also going to say, it looks like they're going to do early access again. So
Yeah,
Hades
yeah.
1 early access, and it looks like Hades 2 is going to be early access in 2023, planned at the moment. So I would have preferred a full game, but if that works for them, it works for them. And obviously, Hades is a huge success.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna
what
say
do you do?
if it worked the first time round, hopefully it'll work the second time round. You know, do the same thing and then I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's funny. I think if Hades could come out like 10 years ago, it wouldn't have done as well. Game releases are so massively about timing, to be honest.
Mm.
And the
Like
best
any art, dude.
the best
Music,
example of that is by a game
films.
we have still yet to even talk about, the Horizon game. Horizon fell to the Horizon curse again this year.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. No, I think that's a DLC, J, for Horizon 2.
Oh, that's what I mean. Horizon 2 didn't win
Oh,
anything, I don't think.
oh, yeah, no, I
It
know,
got
I know,
shoved out of the way by Ragnarok and Elden Ring.
I know, I
If
know.
either of those games hadn't come out, Horizon would have been top of the list, more than likely.
Yeah, totally.
But Horizon lost to what in 2017?
Zelda.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay.
And no, sorry, yeah, Zelda. Jay, this is fucking huge of an announcement.
Okay.
Ken Levine's next game finally revealed.
Yeah.
After BioShock Infinite, which came out in 2013.
Oh
Like
wow,
Ghost Story
that was a while
Games
ago. I still haven't
called
played it.
Judas, which is basically a sci-fi BioShock.
Yeah, isn't Elijah Wood in it?
I have no idea, mate.
Because Elijah put
dunno.
out a tweet saying something. He didn't say anything about being in it. I think he just sort of was like, "Ooh, this game." Like he said he was excited for it or something. But I think Elijah might be acting in it or something.
Oh, okay. Well,
Potentially.
I mean, look, they like to take their time. I can't get too excited, Jay, because I don't know when it's coming out.
Everything
but
we saw was in
can't
engine
wait
as
to play
well.
it.
I
Right.
think it's entirely next gen too. So
That's very exciting.
could be wrong, but I hope it is.
What's interesting about this, Jay, is that so Colin Moriarty, who's known Ken Levine for a while, who I listen to, he's got his own gaming podcast and stuff. Used to be part of Kind of Funny. He sort of talked about what he would want for the next BioShock game. He loves BioShock, and interestingly, he sort of said like years ago, like, oh yeah, I think a BioShock in space would be cool. And obviously, you know, lo and behold, I mean, he did say he knew what the game was and stuff.
That was the natural progression, really, wasn't it? It's funny, BioShock again is one of those games that's in the past for me. So any sort of new IP based on that would be. I really hope that this Judas game has nothing to do with BioShock whatsoever. To be honest, I can already foresee it being connected or being in the same universe, but I'd hate that. I'd absolutely hate it. I want something new. I don't want it to reference the same universe, much like how Prey and Deathloop do. I'm like, I don't really care. And Dishonored, like they're all the same universe. I don't care. Like it's cool, but it's annoying because it makes me want to have to play the other ones. And I don't want to do that.
That's probably why they do it.
Yeah, I do it like that because they want people to go be like, oh, it's such part of that. I might as well go play that game now. And then they go buy an old game. It's like, no, I don't want to. Not gonna make me do shit.
But Jay, I think if it's done right, it can even make the original game even better.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable, right? Like,
I just really hope it isn't.
My go-to for me is probably Red Dead 2, and how that impacts the story of Red Dead 1. You know,
still need to finish it.
So I'm not going to spoil it, but
please.
I think it makes Red Dead 1 even better, which is unbelievable.
Yeah,
frankly,
it's good. To be honest, I think I enjoyed Deathloop more because it was part of the Dishonored universe. To be honest,
I get what you mean though. It's like you can't play Dragon Age 4 because then I'll have to play 3 other fucking games.
Yeah, I'm still pissed because there's a trailer for the new Dragon Age. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm still pissed that it isn't just like a complete reboot of Dragon Age.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know. I just.
Also, the Dragon Age TV show's out on Netflix now, by the way.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I might have saw that. I'm just skipped past that.
Dragon Age Absolution.
Oh, Absolution. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So if you're into Dragon Age, you might want to check it out. It's not
I
my cup of
am,
tea.
but it's tough. Dragon Age games are tough.
Jay, another fucking huge announcement.
Yeah.
Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
We thought, is it happening?
Yeah, he's been
Kojima's
teasing
saying
it for the
Sony's
last
like
2
rejected
months
it
or so, but
and stuff.
yeah.
It sounds as though, but basically he wasn't happy with the fact that Death Stranding 1 was really like COVID, and it sounds like he's almost rewritten the story. But
He has, yeah.
I
So
mean-
he put out. He did an interview where he basically said he rewrote the entirety of Death Stranding 2 over the lockdown or whatever, basically. So during COVID, he was like, right, I'm just gonna sit down and rewrite this whole thing.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So, yeah.
So, what's interesting about this, Jay, is, well, look, you like Death Stranding a lot. A lot of people like Death Stranding. I'm going to really enjoy the trailers. I'm going to enjoy the hype. Am I going to play this game? Fuck no, I'm not playing a delivery game.
Just funny.
But
I don't even know how they could make a sequel. Story-wise,
From
I'm
the
like, how the
story?
hell could they make a sequel
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
this? Like, because it ended in such a weird, like, I mean, I guess they could, like, it was kind of left on a cliffhanger, but
is this not a prequel, Jay?
well, that's the thing. I think a lot of people are thinking that it's a prequel. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are thinking. It wouldn't surprise me, but Norman Reedus has grey hair, so it's like, how does that work? So if there is a way
Oh,
they
look,
could
here
do
we
it,
are,
it's just
yeah,
whether
look.
they're actually going to bother doing it that way.
So
So we'll have to
Kojima,
wait and see.
I heard what he's saying, Jay, but I didn't realize it looks as though he rewrote the script because of COVID, through COVID, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, it sounds like he had a script.
Yeah.
And
Didn't-
maybe it was
didn't
just a
like
bit
it,
too much
yeah.
like COVID, if that makes sense. Yeah.
probably. Yeah. I mean, I'll be
And
playing
also
this game day
PlayStation-
one, more than likely.
A
Death
PlayStation
Stranding is
exclusive,
my-
is that right?
Bag, baby. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it will be a delivery game necessarily. I don't think
Sorry,
it'll be the
PlayStation
same.
exclusive though. I think, right?
Yeah. You can't get Death Stranding now on Xbox.
No.
I don't think it's even on PC.
Do you know what, Jay? This comes back to what I've been saying. PlayStation will get Death Stranding 2, and we'll get some weird cloud-based Kojima game that nobody gives a shit
Oh, I was
about.
going to say, yeah, what is Kojima doing for Xbox if he's making Death Stranding as well? Like, I thought he could only
Right.
do one thing at a time, but clearly he's got something else going.
Agreed.
Or maybe he's
Agreed.
going to finish Death Stranding and then move on to the Xbox thing. But man, that's the thing. It kind of makes sense that he's making Death Stranding 2 because he already had the foundation, right? So going from Death Stranding to Death Stranding 2 would be a lot quicker than going from Death Stranding to another game because you have to remake the whole thing. So.
Here's hoping there's guns in it and shooting. I know there's guns in the first one. You know what I mean.
Yeah, it's done well. I enjoyed
Jay,
it.
I skipped this trailer because I haven't played Cyberpunk, as you know.
Oh,
But
okay.
looks as though Idris Elba is joining the fold.
Yeah, with
for
an
the
American
DLC.
accent, which is annoying as shit. He has an awful
Okay.
American accent. Jesus Christ,
Oh, really?
it's awful. It's
Does he not have one in
abysmal.
the Suicide Squad?
I can't actually remember. I think he's British in that.
Okay.
It's not great. Really not a good accent. I really hope, but from what I heard, it sounded like he was being American, but I might have just heard it funny, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not going to ruin the experience for me, it's just cool that they've brought in another famous person, I guess. That seems to be the trend at the minute with a lot of games, is just bringing in famous people to play the characters or whatever. Because obviously, you know, Kojima's done it, CD Projekt Red have done it, who else? I guess technically the people who did what's the one? Alan Page was in.
Beyond Two Souls.
There we go.
Quantum
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to think who else. Other people.
Well, The Quarry.
The
people
Quarry,
who make
yeah,
Until
sure.
Dawn,
They
all
have
that
Will
stuff,
Poulter,
yeah.
I think, in one of those as well, in one of the Dark Pictures or whatever it's called.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
Yep.
and
Little
Dave
Hope, yep.
Dave Harbour of Stranger Things fame is going to be in a horror game for next year as well. People are speculating it's going to be one of the Dark Picture games, but we don't know yet.
It's got to be, right? It's
Yeah, that's what people are saying. He wasn't supposed to say anything, but he did.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, tough on that one. He just said horror games. So it could be anything.
Do you like the trailer?
For
Cyberpunk DLC.
well, I mean, I'd already seen. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
Okay.
Cyberpunk. I kind of want to like. I'm a bit like 50-50 on seeing some, seeing not. So I'll just sort of wait.
Do we know when it's coming out yet? Like an actual date?
That's a great question. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
think sometime next year. I think that'll probably be November next year, probably. It'll probably be in the third or fourth quarter next year.
Jay, next up, Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yes, and they even brought the bloody guy on.
I'm getting special buzz about this game, Jay. I'm getting a special fucking buzz. They've had longer than I. Okay. Fucking hell, I'm so elaborate. I get the impression this game will be more polished. I get the impression they've had more direct development time on this game than the first game. And I get the impression that they're in the swing of things. They've got a story to tell. It's probably going to be a trilogy. And I get the impression that it's going to be a next-gen game. And I can't fucking wait to play this game, Jay. I think it's going to be really great. And that's all I got to say about it.
Agreed.
What do you think?
Yeah, I can't wait. There definitely seems to be a great sort of arc to Cal Kestis, so see where it goes. I mean, my initial thought was kind of like, oh, I hope it's good, but I mean, it can't be worse than the first one. So
you'd hope, right? You'd hope.
It really can't be. Like I mean, if they've had more time on a game they've already got most of the foundation for, then it should be pretty excellent.
Exactly.
This might be one of the first instances where the sequel is much better than the original.
And also, I think Respawn, they're just the best.
Yeah.
I don't know how they exist in the entity that is EA, but everything they do is fantastic. Ever since Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2, Apex Legends is not my bag, but whatever. Obviously, the first Star Wars game, they just can't put a foot wrong. So yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, got a great track record so far.
Big one for us, Jay. Diablo 4 coming June 2023. That's the other game, Jay. June 6th.
That is the other one.
That's
so
the other game.
6th, yeah, it'll be that. So I'll be playing Diablo 4 for about 2 weeks, and then I'll be playing Final Fantasy 16. I'm a bit worried that I'll be like RPG'd out by that point. But they are obviously
different
two
types
very
of
different
RPGs.
games. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. By the way, Jay, quick one actually. Sorry, Jedi Survivor coming March 17th next year.
Yeah, a lot earlier than you think.
I think that might get pushed. I think they should go for May.
That'll be a July, I reckon.
I think that should get pushed. You know what I mean?
That'll be a July.
As much time as possible. They need it for that to come out in March.
Yeah.
July,
I think the reason they wanted to do that is because they wanted to bring it out before the fiscal year ended.
Right. That's not a great sign, is it? Yeah.
So...
Sorry, Jay. Yeah, so Diablo 4, we got the classic big CGI cinematic trailer. Yeah. Give me your thoughts, Jay, because you know more than I. And
I'm worried more than anything else.
Oh, okay.
There's a battle pass in the game, and Diablo's current record with monetization is the worst it's ever been. Oh, I should say Blizzard, really. Blizzard have probably got the worst. Overwatch 2 monetization is thievery at best. Diablo Immortal's monetization is a massive scam and probably illegal and should be considered illegal. So I'm hoping that they don't do a really fucked up thing with Diablo 4. I know it's going to be a great game. It's just I'm really hoping the monetization. The thing is, why would they want monetization on a game that already costs like 70 quid? It's ridiculous. That's like the Blizzard are really trying to get money out of people right now, and it's really making leaving a really bad taste in my mouth. I don't like it. I really don't. I really hope that once, because to be honest, so obviously Xbox don't actually own Activision Blizzard yet, do they? The money hasn't been put through. So I'm not blaming Xbox right now, but whoever's in charge of Blizzard right now is a fucking moron. And it's pissing me off because it's you got like who the fuck these people think they are? They are scumbags, if you ask me. And I really hope that if Phil finally gets his hands on it, he can just change it and make it just a nicer experience. I don't know how much. I don't think he's gonna have much say in it, to be honest. But Yeah,
I
it's
think
just it's awful right now. It's so scummy.
I think he will, Jay. I think he's gonna completely change it, actually.
Like the amount of money you got to pay for stuff in these monetized games now, it's just like, it's just it really makes me feel like awful. It just makes me feel like dirty. It kind of gives that same feeling you have like when you go to a casino and there's just smoke everywhere. It's just like, why? It just feels like a bloody brothel. It just feels like dirty and scummy and awful. Feels like being in a drug den. It's just bad things happening everywhere and you can't escape it. But the game is fun. So that's like the only good thing, you know. But thing is they can change it whenever they want. They just choose not to. They know they can get away with it, so they get away with it as long as they want, as long as they can.
Totally. And it's not like they could. Oh, I'll tell you what we could do. We can make an amazing Diablo 4 and it'll sell 20 million copies. We won't do that. We'll just fucking charge.
Oh no,
that
it still
shit.
will. It's just there'll also be a Game Pass with it as well, or a
Sure.
Battle Pass, I should say.
Another June game, Jay. Street Fighter 6, June 2nd.
I thought you said June game then, which there is a
Sorry.
June game coming out.
There is.
But yes,
No, it's Dune,
I don't
Jay.
think I'm
That's
gonna be.
Dune.
I think my fighting game days are over, to be honest.
What are you
I
chatting
just-
about, Jay? Street Fighter 6 is incredible. What's all this chat? What are you
Well,
talking
no,
about?
it's just that I don't have the mental capability of doing it anymore.
Well, that's because you're talking about 4 games in 1 month. I think you're overwhelming yourself.
No,
before
I
they
just
even
mean
come out.
fighting games in general. I just don't have the capability of
Capacity.
enjoying them anymore. I think my fighting
Okay.
game days, like I enjoy watching them, I just can't enjoy playing them anymore. It's too much of a grind, more of a grind than a bloody RPG, and that's saying something.
In terms of like learning all the moves and stuff.
Yeah,
or-
just like learning the game. It's just I don't know. I can't. It just my brain doesn't click as much as I'd want it to. I feel
I
like my
understand.
brain
I
is
understand.
older than it needs to be when it comes to fighting games. I just can't. Doesn't click anymore.
Sounds like me and COD, but I
Yeah,
understand.
it's frustrating because I want to play it, but it's good for me because then it means having to pay less money during the year. So.
Suicide Squad kills Justice League. Will include Kevin
Yeah.
Conroy, R.I.P.
His last ever project as Batman, which is amazing.
And another thing that's amazing, Jay, is that every time I see this game, I think the writing is phenomenal. I think the acting is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think it's genuinely laugh out loud funny.
It is, yeah.
And
The bit
and
with
I think
Flash
if they hit
was
the
just like hilarious. Boomerang and Flash, they kept pushing up against the wall.
Jesus Christ.
And he cut his finger off by accident. It's just hilarious.
God.
It's so funny.
And I think if they hit the landing with this game and it's not Avengers,
Oh, it could
let's
be
say.
massive. It could be so big.
Oh my God.
That's the
This
problem with so
game
many
could
games
be
nowadays.
incredible.
Is it has the potential to be like lightning in a bottle, but they just completely muck up the landing. They
I'm
screw
also a
it.
bit concerned, Jay, because that was a short trailer, and then they tell us it's coming up May 26th. So I'm thinking, like, guys, you haven't really showed us the game.
Good, kind of. Like the less we
They
see
showed-
now, the better. I don't really want to see much until like February, March next year.
But no, that's true. But we do also need to see what the game is.
Yeah,
you
we
know
do.
what I mean?
But I think it'll. I mean, yeah, we there's a million and one things it could be. Could be like Arkham. It could be like Avengers. It could be like Gotham Knights. It could be like a bunch of stuff. We don't know.
It's true.
I kind of hope. What do I hope I want it to be? I guess it could almost be a little bit like Marvel Alliance or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what I want it to be like. Honestly, I'm just gonna wait and see. I don't want to give myself any ideas.
Open mind.
Yeah, open mind about it. Yeah.
Jay, is it me? Sorry, guys, I'm still eating. I know. It's bad. Is it me? Or did that Super Mario Bros. Clip look actually quite good?
Yeah, it looked fairly decent. I think on most of the most people talking about it online are sort of saying, film looks great, but I don't think Chris Pratt brings anything to it. Like he's
In
like
what
he
way?
could have been, and that voice actor for Mario could have been anyone else. It would have been just as good as the film.
Yeah, but he is the one doing it.
I know, but I think there's a massive hate train for Chris Pratt because he's a bit more of a righty than a lefty. Let's just say he's a right in Hollywood, so people have to hate on him because he's slightly more right leaning than anybody else, which is hilarious because
surprised
most
they
people in Hollywood are right leaning. They just hide it very, very well.
100%. I'm surprised he's still getting work if he is that right leaning, frankly, in Hollywood.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Most people higher up are right leaning. It's because they make a lot of money. If you make money, you are right leaning. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep that money. If you're left, you lose that money.
I love poor people. Why don't you give them some fucking money then?
Exactly.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh, virtue signaling.
Yeah.
You absolutely hate it. Because
Yeah.
I fucking do.
And I see it everywhere.
Right.
I'm worried. I'm actually going to bring that up in a little while about something.
Okay. Tekken 8 looks sick.
Yeah, probably one of the best looking fighting games ever, if not the best looking fighting game ever. And I think people are now comparing it to Street Fighter 6 and being like, well, why Street Fighter 6 looks... I mean, Street Fighter 6 is, again, an amazing piece of art and does look amazing, but people are comparing it being like, why doesn't Street Fighter look like Tekken? Because they've got their own styles. Exactly, different styles. Let it be. And also the whole debate around, the fact that Street Fighter is coming out on previous gen as well. It's like, whatever,
Jay,
I don't really care. I just want to watch it at Evo. I don't really care.
I get the vibe that we're genuinely looking at quite a big...
I think 2023 might be one of the best years in gaming ever.
Well, actually, I was going to say fighting games specifically, right? We don't know what Ed Boon's doing for Mortal Kombat side of things.
This is the other thing. He did say that we're not bringing out a fighting game this year or next year.
Wow.
Or we're not announcing anything. But whether or not they actually... I mean, he said he wanted to make a Marvel game about a year ago. People are like, well, is that going to be it? Is that not going to be it? And then, like, I think he tweets a lot of, like, stuff. But one thing a lot of people know about Ed Boon, he never lies. He has never once lied about an announcement or about any of his games. So if he says something on Twitter, it is 100% true. So you have to kind of take most of what he says as fact, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. I think this is actually the first time ever that a new Mortal Kombat game hasn't come out every 4 years. Or a new NetherRealm game hasn't come out every 4 years. Every 4 years there's at least one new NetherRealm game, and the last one came out 4 years ago. So we would have seen one out by now.
Do you think they're trying to create more of a Mortal Kombat platform, which they just continuously update, perhaps, or do you think maybe they're doing a new IP, or what do you think they're doing?
Well, I think I'd want them to make Injustice. If they were going to make another one, I want Injustice 3, but which they could be building up to because there's a lot of DC stuff coming out soon. But I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just
also,
sort of
did I hear right, Jay, that James Gunn's taken over as the Kevin Feige of the DC world?
He's co-CEO basically. Yeah, him and one other person are going to be co-CEO of DC.
I thought he would have. I thought after Guardians 3 he would have gone back and maybe made some more sort of indie films. Something a bit more James Gunny, if that makes sense.
You're joking? Every James Gunn movie he makes is James Gunny.
Sure, but what I mean is like he's kind of got that Peter Jackson background of like kind of indie films that nobody's ever heard of. I think he even did a horror film, and I think the beauty of Guardians is that it's an indie film with a 60 million budget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and much like, did you watch Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad spin-off? Yeah, that is. It's about as James Gunn can ever get. It's brilliant. I can't wait for season 2. People are hounding him on Twitter every day. Where's season 2? Where's season 2? I cannot wait. Oh, it's so good. If you've seen the Suicide Squad movie, watch Peacemaker because it is amazing.
Is he even that good of a character? Like, I don't hear anyone talk about it.
It's good. It's really good. It's kind of like a hidden gem, honestly.
Okay, all right.
I recommend, definitely.
Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC arrives in April. Very cool. Obviously in line with Horizon's 1 DLC, which was the Frozen Wilds. Burning Shores, that, guys.
Makes sense.
So that's pretty cool.
I've got the main game on my wish list, so if it ever goes on sale, I'm probably going to get it.
Same.
Yeah.
It probably will over Christmas, right?
It's currently 70 quid for the special edition. I think 60 for the main game. So yeah.
Crash Team Rumble, new 4v4 multiplayer game coming in 2023.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. When that came out, I think the trailer was shown. It was kind of like the consensus was, another Crash Bandicoot thing. Okay, cool.
Where is Spyro 4? Where is Spyro 4?
It's coming, dude. It's just gonna take a long time. They want to try and make all of that last as long as possible, don't they? Like if Spyro 4 had come out by now, what would they be doing next? Spyro 5? It's like they got to make it last.
Mr. Spencer, if you're listening, on
He's
any
got a
off
lot on his
chance,
plate. Okay, leave him alone.
he has got a lot on his
He's
plate.
currently being sued for like
It's
a lot
true.
of money. So
Or the company he works for is, yeah.
yes, but
Um,
he's the one making the decisions.
can you please, if you have any power, I would thoroughly appreciate Spyro 4 being, put on the pipeline in Activision Blizzard. Just if you do get a spare 2 minutes, which I know you don't have, I would appreciate it.
What's the Sony equivalent of Phil Spencer?
Shuhei Yoshida.
Oh, okay. But I feel like Phil Spencer's a bit more of a household name.
Well, the thing is that Shu's actually been. He was head of studio, or he was the guy who used to visit all the studios and go like, "How's the game coming along? What can we do to support? Blah blah blah." And now he's all more on the indie side, so you don't see him as much, and it's a bit weird, really. There's been a bit of a shake up in Sony over the last 5 years. But Shu was he's a big guy in the community, I'd say.
All right.
Like, nobody likes Jim Ryan. Nobody.
I was going to say
Jim
Ryan. Yeah, Jim Ryan's a bit of he's sort of anti-Phil Spencer, really. He's like the Venom to Spider-Man.
I see him more as a businessman than a gamer. Businessman, if that makes sense.
Phil Spencer's a gamer that's also a businessman.
Correct.
Businessman.
Dude, I know Will's been looking forward to this one. Space Marine 2, looking good, bro. Looking good. What do you think?
I want to get into those games, but they're super hard to get into because they don't last very long.
Well, nah, I think this one's coming to Game Pass, so crack on.
We'll see. Yeah, Game Pass is sort of like my entryway into a lot of games nowadays.
Celeste Creator's next game, Earthblade, first trailer, reveal, coming in 2024. Jesus Christ. But yeah, coming in 2024.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Looking cool. Also, I appreciate the transparency. I mean, 2020. Let's not label it 2023 and then delay it. So
yeah, exactly. Good transparency.
Bayonetta Origins.
Yeah, that was very
and the
out of
Lost
left field,
Demon.
wasn't it? That's like an indie.
Not looking that polished, but very interesting of a game.
It's like an indie with a bigger budget, isn't it? It's like a AA game almost, or a single A game. What would you class an indie game? Is it not even a single A game? Is it?
AA?
Really, indie games are AA?
Oh, sorry. No, I just call them indie games.
Yeah, but if you had to like put it on a scale, it would just be like single A, right?
Fuck it, we'll do it. Let's call them single A games.
Yeah, indie, single A. AA is sort of like an indie with bigger budget, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's do it.
I don't know. There's some weird grey areas in there.
Jay, I didn't see this one.
Yeah.
Hellboy game. I didn't see this at all.
Yeah. It's in the style of Mike. I forgot his last name. Hang on, I have the comics. Mignola. There we go. Mike Mignola. It's in the original style of the graphic novels, so we don't really know what kind of game it is. I think what we saw was gameplay, but I'm not really sure what kind of game it is.
It says on here that it's a roguelike action adventure.
Yeah, well there you go. Yeah, it looks good. It's got a great style.
I'm just watching the trailer now, just because I didn't actually see this at all.
Yeah. It was very short, so it was like in between other two things. It was actually right near the beginning, I think. It was like within the first half an hour at least.
Oh yeah, no, it looks potentially cool. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, Jay, this is a weird one. Crime Boss, Rocky City.
So this is a not GTA game, isn't it?
Oh wow! So it is actually. I didn't even know if it was an adventure game, but no, it's literally stealth action FPS apparently. Right? Okay.
Yeah, it looks very odd.
Big cast. I wonder whether they spent all the money on that. I don't know, but yeah, interesting.
Sort of interesting cast of Hollywood actors. Yeah.
Interesting project. Interesting project. Laws of the Fallen, or the Laws of the Fallen.
Yeah, so we finally got to see some more gameplay. Yeah. Or any amount of gameplay. Again, I actually owned the first game, but it wasn't that good. It's like a Souls-like kind of thing. To be honest, it just looks a lot like Mortal Shell, so we'll see.
Yeah, totally.
The Last
of Us Part 1 coming to PC.
Okay, and Returnal coming to PC as well.
Also, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And what?
What he said?
Oh, sorry. Uh, Baldur's Gate 3 release window announced. I have to say that game looks really good.
It's
I'm
been in
assuming
early
if you're,
access since like a year and a half ago.
I personally think that's one of the best progression games I've ever seen in terms of we want to do it. Can we get the support? Yes, we can. Here's the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks very much like older Boulder Gates, just with better graphics. So
Totally.
if you're a fan of it, then you'll love it. But if you're not, then it's whatever.
Dude, can you if you're a fan of it, it must be great. It must be great.
Guess so. Yeah.
Transformers Reactivate online.
Yeah, did not see
action
this
game.
coming. Like to the entire trailer, I was like, "What the hell is this game?" And then right at the end, it was like Transformers. What?
What?
I had no idea.
Also, the Forspoken demo came out.
Yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about a little bit more.
Please, Jay. I think
So
this is a
I've
great
played
opportunity
about
for
an
us to do
hour of
so.
it, maybe.
What? Okay, so what is the demo? Is it a bit of the story? Is it
Yeah,
the start
so
of the game?
no, it's definitely not the start. I'd say I think the game has like 3 or 4 bosses, and I think it's after the first boss. So whenever you beat one of the bosses, you gain their power basically. So it's like a Mega Man game in that you sort of like gain their magic, something like that. So you've got 2 sets of magic. You've got the magic you start off with, and then the magic you gain from the first boss. And you're basically just like you've got like a little sort of narrow sliver of area of the map you can sort of walk around for as long as you want. You can save the game and have multiple saves, and you can just walk around for as long as you want. I don't think there's like an end necessarily. I think if you finish all the objectives that they give you, the demo ends. But it's basically like a free roam demo, which is pretty amazing. I had to tweak the settings a lot. There's a lot of good accessibility settings on there as well, but the lighting was awful. I was like, what the hell is going on with the lighting? I could bet like it was bright and dark at the same time. That makes sense?
Okay.
Like all the bright
Yeah.
areas were way too bright and all the dark areas were way too dark. So I had to sort of like even it out. It was very odd. I literally spent about 20 minutes just tweaking the bloody settings to get it right. And I
It
think
sounds like
I
a
just about got
HDR
it right.
issue.
Potentially, I don't know. So that was interesting. The controls are very hard to get used to. Not very intuitive.
Okay.
Very, very difficult. I think if you do play it, you'll understand what I mean. Like the sprint button is on circle, kind of.
Fucking hell, guys.
Like so the sprint is technically on L3, but to be able to do the parkour sprint and the really fast sprint that actually makes you go around the traverse a bit easier, you have to move the character and press circle, hold down circle at the same time. But the thing is, if you want to like do battling while you're moving around, you have to like move your fingers in a really weird way. Like it's not very like easy to do both. Like it's a very like I had to like literally like hold the controller like this, and like it was very odd. So I think if you played the game from the
Weird.
beginning, you might be able to get a bit more of a hang of it. But I'm a bit
Sure.
before I played this demo, I was like, I'm definitely getting this game. But now playing it, I'm like, ooh, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
might have to play the demo either a little bit longer or just like see more.
The size of it sounds like episode Dust Guy, actually. Frankly.
Sounds like
the
what?
original Final Fantasy 15 demo episode Dust Guy.
Sure.
But yeah, that I'm not surprised by that. I suppose, Jay, in terms of what you're saying, in terms of how you feel about it, I'm not too shocked. I guess
There's a lot of how do I put it? Like, you know how I was worried that there was like lefty stuff in it, I guess, or like more liberal stuff in it.
in Forspoken.
Yeah. Even just from the demo, I was like, oh, okay, I see what they've done. I get it.
What?
Like
what,
they've sort of weaved it in quite nicely. Like it's funny. This game almost feels like it was designed for. This is going to sound very odd, so let me explain. It almost sounds like the game was designed for females,
Okay.
but not in a bad way. Like it makes sense that like it just seems like a very.
Sorry, do
it
you mean
feels
as
almost
in,
like a girly
game
game.
designed or story?
Just like
or,
some of the
writing?
things that there's okay. This makes this I don't mind this. This is fine. Like I'm not complaining or anything. But one of the things you can get in the game, you can get multiple things like pieces of gear, right? Much like you can in Star Wars Jedi, whatever it is. You can get the ponchos. You can
Yeah.
get cloaks in this. You can also get necklaces, and you can get different nail varnish.
Okay, right, okay.
So this is
I
the
don't
thing
know
that
if I've heard
confused
of that
me.
before.
Yeah, so in this
Yeah.
you can have different nail patterns or like nail styles, and depending on
Okay.
what your nail style is in the game, you can have different styles of different hands. They like give you buffs to do with your magic and your magic casting, which is a cool idea. It just seems like I know. Let's just put it this way: I know what the person looks like who made that element of the game.
Sure.
I know what color their hair is.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. I know what you mean.
Because
But
there's
quick
like
one on this, Jay.
references to like stuff in there where I'm like, oh, that's a bit cringy, but all right, I can deal with that.
What about the idea that actually every game or most games we play are quite male orientated, so it's just the
Yeah, this
option of
honestly
having
feels
the
like that. It
different.
feels like most of the games you play nowadays are like, oh, a boy's going to probably play this, so we'll gear it more towards the male side of things. Whereas this
And
game
what
feels like
armor you
it was made
wear
from a
and
female side of like women will want to play this game.
how interesting.
It feels like a girl gamer game, but I'm not. That doesn't, I have no problem with that. I actually think it's quite cool in some aspects. But
Yeah,
I think
but
that the
not for you.
game. No, I'll probably still get it. It's just that at the minute it feels very like I'm having to rewire my brain to be able to play it. Let's just say that. It
I'm
doesn't
gonna
feel
cash
as
in.
doesn't feel as the mobility of the game doesn't feel as good as what I thought it was going to feel like. It actually feels
Yeah,
very restrictive.
because it looks like it flows very well on the trailers, frankly.
Yeah, but the combat is not fun at the minute. I can't quite get my head around it. So I'll either have to play it for longer, or I don't know if it's because I haven't unlocked everything yet, more than likely. So
Okay.
it's tough.
Well,
I will kind of want to know
gonna
what you
cash
think
it-
of it, to be honest.
I'm going to cash in the friendship card and say, please don't pre-order this game, Jay.
Oh
or
no, I
buy
haven't
it.
yet. And I also looked at the
think-
special edition, and I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm getting a special edition. The things they're offering are not even close to good enough.
Okay.
I'm not paying
How much?
I think 20 quid more for a cloak, a set of nails, a necklace, and like a prequel mission or something.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if that's really worth 20 quid to me. Because chances are
Totally.
I'll change out those nails, necklace, and cloak within 5 minutes anyway. Unless they're like overpowered, but I mean,
Yeah, no, sure. Like overpowered at the start, and then you'll soon get some better gear.
Probably.
As per most of the pre-order stuff.
It's fair. Like there's a lot of. One thing I will say about it is that the combat has a lot of complexity that actually reminds me a lot of Souls games. There's like a really cool counter system that's quite fun. There's a really cool block counter thing that like there's half of it is amazing, and the other half I'm just like really trying to figure out, and I can't quite. I don't know. It might have to be one of those things where you play it from the beginning and it makes more sense. I think I will still get it. I think it's still going to be fun. It's just I need to figure out exactly how I feel about it. I'm glad there's a demo though, because man, that would have been like it's really confusing, the combat.
To be
The
fair,
camera work is awful.
I think in terms of demos and things, I think that game will benefit. I don't know if it will benefit, but there's a lot of people I reckon who sees that demo and goes, I really want to try that because I don't know what the game is like. You know?
I wouldn't be surprised if they've had like millions of people try that demo out.
Yeah, totally.
Like I'd love to know what the statistics are on that. Yeah.
So my thoughts on this game, Jay. When I saw the trailer at Game Awards, I thought, man, I've seen this game so fucking much.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it for like 4 years.
I think they've actually shown it off too much. They've sort of done the opposite with a lot of this mysterious marketing where you see hardly anything. But they've shown off a lot, and it's kind of like they've shown off a lot of the same thing, but not so much that it would ruin it, if that makes sense. Like they haven't shown off a lot of the end game stuff. I think it's just so much at the beginning. It's kind of like I've sort of seen it all at this point. But there is a lot of stuff I've seen. So.
I don't know this, and again, I don't want to wish ill of. I don't want to wish ill of any creation, and I hope the game's great and it does really well.
Yeah, me too. It looks awesome.
You know, everyone's get bonuses and all the rest of it. But if you'd gun to my head, I think this game's going to be mediocre from the get-go. And I think
Yeah, it's one of
everything
those
we
ones
see...
that's either or, right? It's going to be amazing or
Say again,
mediocre.
sorry?
It's going to be amazing or
Yeah,
mediocre. We don't know yet. But
yeah. Like, you know... Is it going to make an impression like a Ghost of Tsushima? No. But is it going to be as bad as Saints Row? Probably not. Probably not.
No.
So, the problem with that, Jay, is that I think the middle ground, unfortunately, because of the competition for time and attention is so deep now, I think that there's almost no room for mediocre anymore. There's room for good times, there's room for enjoyment, there's room for fun, but is there room for mediocre or yes, okay? I'm not sure there is. I know that I don't burden myself with okay stuff anymore unless there's a, you know, if you were like, Nick, I want to check this game out, well then that brings a whole new thing because I'm playing it with you, right? Whereas if you were like, Nick, you should check this game out. Okay, it looks a bit mediocre, and you're like, yeah, it is. I'd be like, Jay, why are you wasting our time for, bro?
I feel like
know?
it's a necessary. It's because you don't ever want too much of a good thing. You have to. It's everything in moderation. I know
And
I
you
say it
think
a
bringing
lot.
down your expectations a bit,
No, I'm
like
just
by
saying you
playing a more
can't play
average
every
game?
game you play can't be as good as Final Fantasy 15 or 7 or 13 or Witcher
Sure.
3 or Persona 5 or Last of Us. Like, no, not every game can be the best thing you've ever played. You have to sometimes play something that's worse to appreciate the better stuff. You know,
Totally.
or even maybe even the really really bad stuff that you still love.
Totally.
Like they're necessary. I think you say there isn't room for it. I think it's almost like a necessary evil, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, really. But yeah, it's fine. Like Need for Speed Unbound is fairly mediocre, but I enjoyed it enough to still, have bought it. So yeah, I think they're necessary, weirdly necessary. You just can't have a good thing all the time. You really can't. It would then make it would make everything seem mediocre.
Yeah, interesting.
It would also like your standards for stuff would change, and like the way you'd constantly be like looking for a new high.
I mean, that's basically what I am.
Yeah,
frankly.
me too. I'm kind of stuck in that little lane at the minute. Like the moment I stop playing anything, I'm like, oh, I need that new fix.
Yeah.
But
I'll have to come back to you on that, Jay. But it's an interesting thought for sure. But alas, we move on. Banish's Ghosts of New Eden comes from Don't Nod, who made Life is Strange, the OG, and Life is Strange 2, and Focus Entertainment Publishing. I thought this game looked kind of interesting, Jay. What do you think?
Don't think I even remember it, to be honest.
Okay.
What was it? Explain it to me.
There's basically they were hunting down a ghost or a monster or something, and this guy was in a pub, and then it turns out that he's talking to this old lady, and he's like, yeah, no, we hunt together, and then turns out that his wife or partner or whatever is a ghost herself. And
this was a game that was announced at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
I don't even remember it. I don't think. I think if I saw it, I'd probably remember it. But what's it called?
I think you would. Ascendant Studios announced Immortals of Avium. This was the weirdest trailer I've ever seen. It literally showed 30 seconds of gameplay of something blowing up, and that was it. And I was like, okay. And also, I don't know the name. Sorry, guys. Do you remember this, Jay?
Yeah, I'm now looking at it. I've got to remind myself.
That was weird.
Oh
just
yeah,
while Jay's looking at
that thing.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, it looks fine, but yeah, we haven't seen any gameplay yet again, so
yeah,
we'll wait.
Gearbox announces Remnant 2 for 2023, which kind of
saw that
I think is fairly popular. Yeah. Blue Protocol will be released.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that for the last year and a half, so yeah.
MMORPG.
That's just like a new anime style RPG type thing, so yeah, I'll be playing that.
Cool.
It's actually coming to console, which is weird. We never ever get these anime things come to console. Barely ever. It's only ever usually PC.
I'm now also looking at something I missed as well. After Us gameplay coming from Private Division, a surreal platformer. I'm watching it because I don't remember it at all. Apparently set in a post-human Earth where players become Gaia, the spirit of life.
Okay.
Looks interesting. Bear with me as I watch this trailer. I remember it and I skipped it.
It's basically
Sorry,
the
guys.
next like Journey type game, right?
Yeah. We're moving on from that.
Looks great.
Replace new trailer at the Game Awards. Retro futuristic platformer. Looks interesting. Vampire Survivors now on mobile. Jay mentioned that earlier.
Yep.
Dead Cells Return to Castlevania DLC. Wow. Nice. Cool crossover. Valiant Hearts Coming Home is headed to mobile devices soon. Valiant Hearts is a fantastic game. Everyone should play it. Well, it's a really good game. Not fantastic. It's a really good game. And that is pretty much all the things I care about. Wild Hearts, we've got gameplay trailer. That Modern Warfare 2 Raid Season 1 trailer. Fire Emblem Engage DLC trailer. Dune Awakening in Engine trailer. The MMORPG from the guys who made Conan MMORPG. We got a Destiny 2 Lightfall gameplay trailer. We got Among Us Hide and Seek trailer. We got I was going to make a joke, but I couldn't think of one quick enough. And we got a Horizon Call of the Mountain gameplay trailer as well, which is the VR game. So with that, let's do a wrap on the Game Awards. Jay, to finish off the news stories for this week, quick one from me. A tweet, this comes from via Twitter. Tom French, the creative director for Halo Infinite's multiplayer mode, has departed 343 after 11 years at the company. This is obviously interesting timing because Bonnie Ross left recently, and I wonder whether it was part of that.
Yeah, more than likely. They'll never say it was, but chances are, whenever you see a bunch of people leave who have been there a while, it's kind of like, yep, something's happened.
The question about this is, was Tom French the one behind the scenes who created the incredible multiplayer of Halo Infinite, but then, if he didn't create the progression system and Microsoft were like, well, we need to get more microtransactions so that the game makes money again or makes money. Was he the force behind that? Were they the force behind that? I don't know, but all I can say is the foundation of the multiplayer game is fantastic.
It's funny. I feel like even though there aren't that many of them, of these like microtransaction-y type multiplayer games, the ones that are already out there are so flooding the market that you just can't bring a new one in. I think that's why most new ones tend to fail super quick. Anything that isn't Fortnite, isn't Warzone, or isn't Overwatch is just going to get shunned, and it's probably just going to fail from the beginning. It's not going to. You can't bring in another one. They're already too flooded.
And I think as well that's probably why there's no more battle royales coming out, because you've got Warzone, Fortnite, and Apex Legends, and there's pretty much no room for any.
No room. You can't have any more competition. That's it. You can't bring in another one. You just can't. I mean, Dead by Daylight is even still going. What is it? Rainbow Six, I think, is still going. So yeah, like all these sort of slightly smaller ones. I guess CS:GO is another thing too. Like, there's just not enough room for anything else. Like, anyone who's planning on bringing out one in the next couple of years is just going to fail. It's not going to happen.
100%. Jay, the big news that is going to be hard to summarize. So basically, we've talked about this occasionally. We haven't talked about it, like on every week, like most gaming podcasts, I guess, naturally, because news keeps coming up. But the Activision Blizzard takeover from Xbox/Microsoft. Looks as though, in short, guys, if you haven't been listening or reading or whatever, in short, Xbox want to acquire Activision Blizzard. It's like a 70 billion deal. Huge.
The biggest.
Sony come back. Sony clearly do not want to lose Call of Duty in any capacity. They also are clearly a little bit fearful of the cloud stuff too, but whatever. They just have this fucking gripe about Call of Duty, frankly. So then they use their influence to halt the progression of it by speaking with EU regulators and all that. By the way, I'm reading between the lines here. So just don't take this as literal. Obviously, look at me. I've got a blanket on. So they try and slow down stuff. Jim Ryan has public statements about each other and the acquisition. In short, Xbox have basically said, look, regulators, first of all, we wouldn't have a monopoly even if we did have the acquisition. Secondly, we're not going to take it away from PlayStation anyway. That is Call of Duty. Thirdly, Look at what we did with Minecraft. We didn't take that away. Fourthly, PlayStation could just make a new Call of Duty anyway, and frankly, they make better games than we do anyway, so they haven't got justification in it, which is kind of true. That's not what they said. That's just what I'm sort of paraphrasing. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So then, anyway, long story short, the FTC put out a news release that they are going to sue Microsoft for the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. There's a quote here I'm taking from Polygon. Microsoft has a record of, quote, acquiring and using valuable gaming content to suppress competition from rival consoles, end quote. I mean, isn't that literally just isn't that what an acquisition is for? To suppress other competition? Like, isn't that literally the purpose of an acquisition? But anyway, fair enough.
I guess so, yeah.
So it looks as though they think it's in violation of the monopoly laws that they have or whatever. I completely disagree. But what do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I think Phil put it best in saying that Sony's sole goal is to make Microsoft smaller. So anything that sort of hinders that goal is going to be in their way, so they'll try their best to stop that from happening. I think the Call of Duty thing is just like a piece of the puzzle, really. It's part of the bigger picture being that Sony can't have Microsoft be bigger than them, so they have to stop them by any means necessary. I really hope Microsoft win, because technically Microsoft are smaller than Sony, I guess, as like a gaming thing. Sony definitely has more of a monopoly on much larger bits of the gaming realm anyway, so yeah. I think it just, more than anything, it'll probably level the playing field. Which again,
Agreed.
Sony wouldn't want. Sony only ever want Microsoft smaller than them, so...
Agreed. I think it would level the playing field massively. Do I think Xbox have the capacity to actually manage the development of all those games? No, I don't, because they're not doing it at the moment, from what I can tell. But alas, yeah, I agree. Jay. I agree.
Yeah, it's one of these things that we'll probably be talking about a year from now, being like, oh, I can't believe it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, exactly. Which selfishly for us, I think is a shame, because we obviously want all these games to go on Game Pass, frankly. So, like, I want Diablo 4 on Game Pass.
I know that they've said that they're gonna, they've offered Nintendo a 10-year deal with Call of Duty.
Yes. Which by the way, isn't that a bit preemptive? Like,
yes, it is, but it's basically confirming there's going to be a new Nintendo Switch.
You reckon?
Because a new Call of Duty game isn't going to work on the current console.
Depends how it's formatted, though, right? If The Witcher 3 can run on
yes,
Switch,
that's true. But like, if they want to get to a good enough quality, they're not gonna bother until the Switch Pro comes out, basically.
At this point, Jay, do you not think it'll just be the Switch 2, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it'll be something like that. It'll be like much like the Xbox 360 to the One. It'll just be like a different name, probably.
Just because I'm thinking that time's getting away from us now, in terms of, like, it's gonna be 5 years next year.
Yeah, it'll probably still be called the Switch. Just the Switch something.
It seems like quite a long time.
I mean, they might even change the name. They might even take away the Switch thing, but I doubt it, because the Switch has sold more than anything else they've ever sold before. So.
Yeah, true.
It's the most popular.
Well, apart from the DS or whatever. Yeah, totally. And also, Jay, you put on the doc that Xbox is looking to raise its major new first-party titles from $60 to $70, which I assume is to 70 quid in the UK.
Yeah, basically. So it just means that if you want to buy, first-party Xbox games now, they're going to cost £10 more than they used to.
Yeah, but why would you do that when you just get Game Pass, though, right?
I think their argument for this was basically that games are becoming more and more intense to make, or take more work, basically. So they're going to want to pay their workers more. Makes sense, I guess. But it just means more money out of our pocket, which is not really what we want. So. If they can get away with it, they can get away with it, I guess. That's what they're thinking, which is, again, scummy, but if it has to be done, it has to be done, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has to be done. Games are expensive to make, aren't they? And
the thing is, though, once they bring it up, they'll never bring it down again. That'll be it now.
True. But then games hardly ever go up compared to inflation anyway.
Yeah,
and all the rest of it, and the cost of them.
Yeah, that's probably what they're compensating for, majority of.
Just get Game Pass.
Yep.
You don't,
It's
you don't have to
basically a
worry
big
then.
incentive to be like, yeah, I'll just get Game Pass. It'll be
It's
cheaper.
true. It's true. Before I go into what I've been playing, Jay, do you mind if we just do a quick temperature check on you?
Still cold, warmer, but still cold.
Okay. And then also a temperature check on the Callisto protocol, because that came out since last time we recorded.
It did, yeah. It had a bit of a rocky start. Apparently, it was a clerical error that made the game not work properly on Xbox.
What's a clerical error? Like a coding error?
Yeah, like a wrong number in one place.
No way.
Basically, yeah. Basically, like someone was like to a team, "Yo, code this way, or fix this issue by coding it like this," and then one of them just put the wrong number in by going too quick.
Wow.
So they released an update they basically released a buggy update, basically.
How interesting.
Yeah, so apparently they've fixed it now, but I haven't even seen. I'm not even sure.
Okay.
It was basically to do with the ray tracing elements on Xbox versus PlayStation. The conspiracy was that because PlayStation or Sony had a hand in helping make the game, that they deliberately made the Xbox version worse. But the lead designer on the game basically this is not true. It's just a conspiracy theory. But people are still thinking that it's not, and that they did it on purpose.
Surely, you don't have to say that they wouldn't sabotage it. But what you could argue is that maybe did they prioritize the PlayStation version?
Yeah,
perhaps?
it was almost like an exclusive, a console exclusive on the game quality. But a hidden one, because they're never going to say that. They're never going to be like, oh, you can get the game on both consoles, but because we had a hand in making it, if you get it on ours, it'll be better quality than the other one. I think that's illegal, if you ask me.
It is.
Yeah, I think
but
that's illegal.
funnily enough on that, Jay, I'll be buying Star Wars on PlayStation because the first game ran so poorly on Xbox. So poorly.
I think I actually
tried it
bought
on my
it on
Series
PlayStation.
X and it still ran poorly.
I think, yeah, I played it on PlayStation, so I'll probably do the same.
Yeah.
More than likely. Haven't really thought about
Jay,
it, to be honest, but there we are.
We're gonna wrap up after I've told you what I've been playing.
Yeah,
It's
please.
been a long show. Jay, I've actually been pretty busy, I think, in terms of playing games.
I think you have too. I think we both have.
Yeah. Well, you're usually busy, you know. Sometimes I come to the table, I'm like, man, I've played one game. Jay's played like 4, but yeah.
Not on purpose.
No, I know. So first up, Halo Infinite co-op mode. So I think last time we recorded, I told you that the Halo Infinite Winter update came out. Me and Will got all the new co-op achievements on the game.
Sweet.
And like the new achievements that got updated with it. So we've only got like 10 that we haven't done, which are multiplayer related, and like the Lasso playthrough, which we're not going to do. But it was really good, Jay. It was really good fun. I really enjoyed it. It's a shame we didn't launch with it because it's really good. It's definitely made for co-op. It's definitely more fun. Well, not necessarily more fun, but it's fun in co-op. And the game is still great. The game still plays really well, which is what's obviously so sad about there not being enough content. But yeah, that was fun. Then wandered over to AC Valhalla.
Oh yeah, I still need to play that. Yeah.
So I didn't even realize, but anyway, the last update has come out, the last chapter or whatever it's called. So the very last sort of post-launch update for AC Valhalla. So I think they've still been patching it. They've still been putting in other stuff, but this is pretty much the last thing they're putting in now, as far as I'm aware. So I played through it. There's a couple of new quests in there to finish, but they're not too long. I'll be honest, it was nice. What should I say? What can I say?
I don't know. Yeah,
it's pretty It's pretty. I think it's pretty necessary for the new game. What's interesting about that is obviously the new game's pitched at the old AC fans. So, you know, I'm sure the game won't require you to play this small update for AC Valhalla. Oh. But what's interesting is that they are trying to make it quite a continuation of some sort of story, right? And obviously it's like a prequel to Valhalla. What's also interesting, Jay, is that if you go on Valhalla, you'll see now that they've already kind of got an AC Infinity hub there where you can go on every single game. you could go on the menu and like pick another game to buy or install or whatever. So that
Sweet.
it seems like they're kind of developing that already.
Yeah.
And also what's interesting is that when I was playing through the last chapter, there was loads of characters that I couldn't remember because I played it like a year ago. So there's that too. But yeah, it was good. It was
How
pretty,
long
it was
is
pretty
it?
short.
Because I want to play it, but I don't want to play it while I'm playing The Witcher.
It's like an hour.
I might even do it over the next 2 days. I might do
I
it.
would.
I might either start it tonight or start it tomorrow night, and then just.
You can then uninstall that bad boy, mate.
Yeah, I can get rid of it and make room.
No need for it. No need for it.
Yeah.
So that was that. So that's cool. So I've uninstalled it now. End of that chapter. It's weird, Jay, because like I still don't think Valhalla's my favorite, but I really like playing it. You know, every time there was an update, I liked playing it.
It's definitely
So-
like it's a contender for being one of the better ones. Definitely, I think more just because it's got so much content. There's just so much to do,
Yeah.
which
In
can
my
be a bad
mind-
thing, but in this instance, it's actually not a bad thing.
True. I think there were some 360 games in that generation, Jay, which had incredible post-launch updates. I would actually argue that probably the 360 generation we were getting the best. So Fallout 3, for instance, those 5 DLC packs, even the Call of Duties were getting really cool updates and DLCs, right? I think a lot of games in that generation were having fantastic post-launch support before everyone started to get greedy. But what I will say is that in the modern era, I would say this, Valhalla and Borderlands 3 come to mind in terms of, that was an incredible post-launch support, you know?
Agreed. Yeah. Yep. It's definitely what you want.
I then also succumbed to Call of Duty, Jay. So there's a lot of momentum going around with Modern Warfare 2. Obviously, the reboot just came out, or remake, or whatever. Everyone's really enjoying the multiplayer and the campaign, which is fantastic. I haven't played it myself. I was hoping the acquisition would have come through by now, and that game and all the other games would have gone on Game Pass, but they haven't. So anyway, so I just thought, fuck it. It would have been insane.
Jesus.
So anyway, me and Will have kind of been buying the old CODs, and I've been playing through them. So I played some of them 3 or 4 years ago. I missed some. So overall, blah, 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 blah. I played Black Ops 1 and COD 4 3 or 4 years ago as a replay. Okay. I then played Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remaster, which came out last year or whenever it was. And I've now played World at War, the campaign, all the way through again.
Sweet.
That campaign's fantastic. Really great campaign. What's interesting about that game, Jay, is that it came during a period of where COD 4 just fucking dominated.
Yeah, so the next one had to be interesting, it had to be, I don't know,
100%.
good.
And World at War was interesting because obviously, like, it goes back to World War II, which is what Call of Duty always was originally, basically, right?
Yeah.
And I think at the time, it was really, really good, but it just wasn't quite Modern Warfare. So I think going back and playing it is actually beneficial because I can now appreciate the campaign outside of being a 13-year-old who just wants to play Modern Warfare, or a 10-year-old or whoever who wants to play Modern Warfare 1. And then also, I think that the campaign holds up really well. And I also think, Jay, that I'm not being an old man for saying this. I genuinely believe that is the golden age of Call of Duty.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because we could be like, oh, we didn't grow up with Black Ops 4. That's why you don't like. Nah, fuck off. It's just not as good. Do you know what I mean?
It really isn't. No, it's just the Call of Duty timeline is literally like this. It's just sort of like a massive curve where it sort of peaked. I don't know. Black Ops 1, did it peak? Modern Warfare 2.
Agreed. Yeah. Black Ops 1. I would
and then
argue.
since then, it's just gone downhill. So. Although I guess
100%.
you could say it sort of did this in areas, but to each their own.
Yeah, totally. So it's been really cool replaying them. I even actually mopped up a few weird achievements that I never got originally. I didn't play it through veteran because I did one mission and I thought, no way, no, I'm not doing this. It's too stressful. I don't know why I didn't play it on veteran before. When I was a young lad.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't play it through now. Oh, Nick, are you going to try and play through 20 hours of veteran, or are you going to try another game?
Makes the campaign 3 or 4 times as long, I will say.
Get
it's
value for
usually
money,
an 8-hour campaign, but with veteran, you're talking at least 20.
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, it's stressful. So I don't think I'll be playing veteran, but I've kept the disc anyway,
Yeah,
just in
it's
case
there if you
on the
want it.
cheap. Exactly, mate. Exactly. And then the other one I played when I was speaking to you on Xbox was Modern Warfare 3. So
Yes, the worst one.
Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2. I'm now playing Black Ops 2, by the way, so I'll give you my thoughts on that next time we record. But I'm now playing through that. So Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3, I played both of them like a couple of years after they were out. Like I think I borrowed them from someone, and so like I wasn't in the hype. I didn't really give a shit about multiplayer. It's just a campaign, really, and some of zombies too. So I remember Modern Warfare 3. I remember some of the key story beats. I remember thinking when I played through it, oh, because I was going in thinking this is going to be horrendously bad. So when I first played it, I thought actually it wasn't too bad, but I didn't like it as much as Modern Warfare 1 and 2. Black Ops 2, I remember the same, oh, it's not as good as Black Ops 1, but it's fine. It's kind of what I remember. And I remember a few beats, like I remember going on a fucking horse and futuristic stuff, right? But anyway, Modern Warfare 3, I can confirm after replaying it, that is not a good game.
Thank you. I'm glad, because it is as bad as what I remember.
I don't like the pacing of the campaign. I don't like the controls of the campaign.
No.
I don't mind the story. It wraps things up, but it's not got what Modern Warfare 1 and 2 had. And Spec Ops is just overused maps and gameplay that's tiring and not very interactive. Like, the missions are literally just the story missions reskinned.
Yeah.
I didn't even try the multiplayer.
I think Modern Warfare 3 was sort of the beginning of the end for my Call of Duty enjoyment, to be honest. After that, everything just went. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done with Call of Duty now.
Agreed. Yeah. Completely agree. But you know what's weird? You played it when it came out, right?
Yeah, I got it day one. And then I took it back the next day.
Did you really?
Not even a lie. I bought it and then I played it for a day and took it back. I was like, nope, this is awful.
Oh my god.
It was so bad.
That's amazing.
First time I've ever done that, I think. Yeah.
See, because Modern Warfare 2 and that, and Black Ops, we got a midnight, the OG midnight, and for some reason, Jay, I didn't even give a shit about getting Modern Warfare 3, but I don't know why.
No, I gave less than one at the time, but it was still like, oh, I just kind of need to because I've always played the other ones.
Everyone else.
I didn't even really look into it. I was kind of like, yeah, well, it's Modern Warfare. It's Call of Duty. It's going to be good. But nope.
Yeah.
It was the first bad of the bunch. So.
Amazing as well that back then you were like, you literally played it for a day and you're like, nope.
I could tell immediately. I played it within the first hour. I was like, oh my god, what even is this?
Right.
Like, it was just such a weird. It was just such a departure from previous iterations. I was honestly, it left me speechless. I was like, what? Even as I think I was maybe 13 or 14 when that came out as well. I was just so blown away. How they went from the greatest to the worst. It's just.
I know. It's so crazy to me, Jay, because if you look on paper, the stuff's there. Yeah. The
just
cinematics between missions, the missions, the gameplay, the characters are all there. It's just that it's just no way near as good. It's just weird, man.
That's the thing. Not all progression is good, basically. Not all evolution, not all innovation, not all progression is good. Not always, and that is a very good example of it.
Yeah. It's I did not like playing through that campaign again.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, I'm not touching that game with a bowl. A bowl barge pole.
Barge pole.
A pole.
Barge pole.
Yeah, I'm not touching that game again.
Nope.
But my last game, Jay, that I'm very excited to tell you about.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy Finistio, completed, done,
thank God.
uninstalled.
Did you get all the achievements though?
Can I come back to you on that?
No.
Okay.
You didn't get them all.
I'll tell you for why, Jay.
Yeah, please.
Because this game,
did you just get bored?
It's fucking broke.
Oh, did you get an achievement that didn't work?
Yeah.
Which one is that then?
Groot's healing ability.
Okay. I
It's
forgot
stuck
what
at 80%.
his healing ability.
You have to heal 10 teammates or revive them using Groot's floral healing ability,
Yeah.
and it's stuck at 80%.
Huh. Okay. Have you
Now,
Googled it to see
yeah,
if there's a workaround or?
there is not. You have to
Okay,
play through the whole game again.
that's unfortunate.
And Jay, let me tell you, as someone who's got OCD or
Yeah,
minor OCD,
yeah.
I have decided that I'm going to leave it as a piece of remembrance and art, so that anytime someone asks me why you haven't got one achievement, it's because the game's fucking broke.
Well, you never know. It might pop one day randomly because it actually like fixed itself.
It might do, mate.
Yeah,
It might do.
one of those things.
It might do.
Yeah. There was one
But
achievement on that that I got like really annoyed at, which was the like the special. There's like you have to defeat an enemy with a certain move.
Do you remember which character?
You have to do it on a very specific enemy in a very specific mission, and
Was
you
it
had
the
to do it. I
Yetis?
think you had to do it with Groot or Drax.
Yeah, it's the Yetis, right?
No, I think the
The
Yeti's one was easy. It
snowflakes.
was the one before that. It was like the weird robot-y.
The robots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That took me like an hour. Should have took 2 minutes, but that thing is the problem with that achievement is it's a random thing. The person
Yeah.
whose ability comes up is always random, and because I only ever got the other three, I never got the single one the entire time. So I'm guessing you got that straight away, probably.
Yeah, I did get that pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah,
to you.
that one took me the longest, but other than that, yeah.
But you got the achievement, so I know which
I
one I'd
did.
rather have.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, that.
What do you think of the
frustrated
story
me.
though? Did you actually enjoy the game though?
Yeah, good question, Jay. So when I started it, right, they put you in hard in terms of the Guardians are fucking assholes, mate. Like way more of an they're way worse than the movies.
When you say
Like they
worse,
are borderline intolerable, in my opinion.
oh, do you mean like they're basically criminals, so yeah.
Yeah, they are criminals, and I know they're anti-heroes, but
Yeah, they're
like
anti-heroes.
to the point where I was like, okay, Rocket, I don't actually like you as a
Really?
character.
Oh, that's
I'm not-
surprising. I actually liked it more.
Well, I think I struggled for the first 7 or 8 chapters,
Okay.
but there is a genuine turning point,
Okay.
and I love the origin stories of all of them.
Yeah.
And I love the way that that's told.
Yeah.
And I think that by the time you get to chapter 12 or 13, I'm like, I get it. I fucking get it. And I love it.
Shouldn't take you
And
that
like,
long, but yeah, okay.
sure. Maybe it's more like chapter 8 or 9 then.
Sure, but all right. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like just over halfway, maybe halfway. Okay.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I get it. I totally get it. And what I would say is that by the time I finished it, I liked those Guardians, you know, as much as the films, if not more. You know what
That's
I mean?
good.
Like,
I'm glad you actually like eventually got to like them.
really liked it. In fact, and a few shout outs. The performances are incredible. I think they're really great. I also think the cinematics and the animations in the cinematics are great. What I would say, Jay, is that this game's interesting because I think they made a purposeful, 15 to 20 hour single player game, which obviously I really appreciate. But at the same time, they almost looked as though they put almost more effort into the writing and the story and the cinematics than almost the gameplay itself.
Yeah.
Then almost like I would argue you actually spend more time in this game in cinematics and dialogue than you do in action in game.
Yeah, it's almost like you're playing a movie, or like a TV show, but you're like actually just doing the combat sections.
Literally.
So you're watching a TV show with all the cinematics, but it's a bit like Quantum Break in that way, I guess. Yeah, I mean it's not a bad thing though. I'd probably say it's
No,
like
not at all.
65 cinematic, 35 combat,
So yeah,
like a 65-35 split maybe.
with like a bit more combat towards the end naturally.
Yeah,
'cause
there's
of all
definitely
the,
like more going on. But I think it's funny. I even thought to myself the other day, I was like, I really want to play that game again. I'm very tempted. I might actually play it on like hard or something, and see if I can get through on the hardest.
Sure.
Just to see.
Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Very fun.
I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad I played it. You know, obviously I want a sequel.
Yeah, me too.
The game
They
is
won't get
definitely
one,
not
but
polished. How
yeah,
come?
I don't think it sold very well. And Square
Oh,
Enix are
bullshit.
funny about their games not selling well.
And I think this game was not polished. It did have, you know, bugs, glitches still. I don't think they've patched it that well either.
No.
And what I'll also say is that some of the animations, the actual gameplay, are, you know, they're not great. Like jumping, for instance, never feels good,
No,
in
that
my
felt a bit
opinion.
funny. Yeah, I agree.
But you know, pushing those things aside, the core game of what's there, yeah, totally, that totally should have sold 5-6 million copies easy,
Yeah.
easy.
I think that was one of the sort of hidden gems, underdog games of last year. I think, you know, even though, you know, it's amazing even though it had these faults with it, basically. Much like Cyberpunk. Like, you know, a game can have faults, but it can still be amazing.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely would recommend to anyone who likes single player story games.
Or
Yeah,
Guardians of the
completely
Galaxy.
agree, Jay. Yeah.
They're just
And I
amazing
totally
as a
see
group of people.
how they got was it best narrative or best written
Yeah, I
game
think
or
it was
whatever at the
narrative,
Game
yeah.
Awards. Yeah.
Makes sense, doesn't it? They
Yeah,
definitely put a lot of effort into the story on that one.
definitely. And the character arcs are very specific and
That's funny, like, the more I think about
yeah.
looking back on my experience of the game, the more I'm enjoying it in my head, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good game to look back on.
Maybe
Really
you
is.
shouldn't replay it then, Jay.
Yeah,
Maybe you
maybe
should just
not. I'll
leave
just leave it
you
in
know?
my memory of it being good, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It would ruin it for me.
So yeah, but I didn't think I'd have a glitch Chivo in 2022, but that's
Yeah,
it's
it's
kind of
happened to me
nostalgic in a way.
recently and with a couple of things too, so it happens more like
Anything
it
come
happens
to
a lot
mind?
less than you think now, but when it does happen, you're just more surprised by it because of how little it should happen.
It's true.
But yeah,
Because
my
let's be
most
honest,
recent
it
was
used to happen all
Valhalla,
the
wasn't
time.
it? I had 2 or 3
Of
achievements on
course,
that.
yeah.
Go funny, so
But fortunately, they patched most of them, didn't they?
yeah, they're all fixed now. It's just, you know,
Yeah,
annoying at the time.
100%.
Always is.
Really annoying.
Yes.
But yeah. Well, look, Jay, that's it from me. So if you're happy to, we'll wrap up the show. And as I say, we've got more stuff to talk about next week. But for now, we might as well go and enjoy our rest of our day, whatever we have left. So yeah, thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you whenever we catch you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.